peaking. I'm always peaking.
You're always peaking. Hello and welcome to the Video Gamer UK podcast.
What a saucy start.
Is that saucy?
Nah, it's
because you're always
fine.
peaking. All right, yeah. My name is Simon Miller. And today I'm joined by Mr. David Scammell.
Hey.
Mr. Brett Phipps.
Hello.
And a very special Video Gamer Community Club member, Alec Norton.
Hello, everyone.
How you doing, Alec? You all right? I give a round of applause, yeah.
Hey!
Did we round of applause other people?
Yeah.
Now they're going to think we're being biased.
No,
I hope that
well
doesn't
did.
screw the levels for anyone listening.
Well, if it did, it did.
Well, to be fair, I'm paying into your Patreon fund anyway, so any questions of ethics are out the window.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Screw ethics. We're corrupt. No, we're not.
Wow. I'm having nothing to do with this.
I'm joking around. So I don't know what everyone wants to chat about today. Obviously, we'll get to you eventually, Brett, so you can talk about... A lot of people are upset you weren't on last week to talk about The Witcher 3.
Oh, really?
Even though there was a video out there with you talking about The Witcher 3.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
We will,
There's another one now.
Well, yeah, now you've whacked a score on the end of it as well. We will dive into some Witcher 3 chat at some point. But Alec, I think it's only fair we start with you, as you've come all this way to join us on the Video Gamer UK podcast. And it's basically an open forum. You can chat about The Witcher 3. You can chat about what else we're having in game this week. Checkered shirts. You can talk about that if you wanted. You can literally anything you want to talk about, we will chat about with you. Do you have any topics you'd like to bring up?
I did have a topic I was going to bring up.
You want to talk about with Burns, didn't you? But Burns ain't here today.
Yeah, it's a controversial one. It's a controversial one.
He's
That's
going to be
good.
the mayor of St. Neots again, isn't he?
Yeah.
Tuesday's just mayor of St. Neots Day. Gotta go run a little town. Go on, go be controversial. We're all right with it.
All right, my topic is Metal Gear Solid 2 and why I also think it's a bad game.
Oh,
Do you really?
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
quick survey, because usually Burns talks over everyone we do this. Do you
I
Brett
love
Phipps,
the game, yeah,
What do you
yeah.
think about Metal Gear Solid?
I think it's
2?
really good.
Yeah, I like it as well. All right, so...
That's what
Good
I'm
start,
probably
yeah.
outnumbered,
But this is
yeah.
good though, no. So why? Because I liked it most. I mean, it didn't really work for me because I played Metal Gear Solid 2 before I played the original Metal Gear Solid,
Yeah,
which was
don't be-
stupid.
yeah.
But
And you
that's-
skipped all the tanker, and you didn't know what was going on.
Man, have I told that story that
And
many
all the
times?
kids at school took the piss,
like an old man.
as we are now.
Granddad's telling his Metal Gear story again. But that did obviously, I imagine, taint my experience of it somewhat because the original is clearly better than the second one. But I still think it holds, maybe not holds up today, but I still enjoyed it at the time. So why do you think it's terrible?
Right, the first thing to do, I'm going to do a disclaimer, which is I'm not going to touch on the plot because I don't mind that.
Right.
And I'm not going to touch on Raiden because I don't mind him.
Right.
I'm going purely gameplay aspects.
That's fair enough. I think that's fair enough. I like Raiden. He's all right. He's badass now. Metal Gear Solid 4 saved him.
Yeah, you just give him more and more... Well, took away more of him and give him robot
Yes.
bits. Yeah.
I tried Rising the other day, just talking to Ryan very quickly.
good?
I thought it was a bit pissed.
Oh, really? Oh, so it's good.
People loved it, though, didn't
I
they?
was
They went
hoping
mad.
it has big action moments. Like
Yeah.
the sense of scale was really good.
Doesn't it have
but-
chop physics?
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it's just like, what
Chop
am I
the melon
doing?
and
Just,
all that.
I'm hacking and it don't mean
No,
anything.
nowhere near as good as Ninja Gaiden or Bayonetta or anything.
I
No,
didn't
that's the
think
thing,
so, and it's really hard as well.
Because it came up on the PS Plus, was it about this time last year, was
Yeah,
it?
it was a while ago.
Metal
now,
Gear,
yeah.
it was on PS Plus.
On
Yeah,
PS3, yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so I gave it a try because, sort of gets all the big sort of applause and whatnot on places like
Why
the
wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gave it a try, and again, yeah, it's all right, I guess.
Yeah,
But-
that's it. It's all right,
Yeah.
but compared to others, like Bayonetta, like you said, bro,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
it's just,
Bayonetta, Devil May Cry,
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
a league above it.
yeah.
Well, I guess the fact that we haven't seen a sequel and those games keep on pumping stuff out, not
Yeah.
Ninja Gaiden so much, makes me think maybe they knew it wasn't really their forte.
Oh, it's
I
pretty
don't know.
gory though.
Is it?
First 10 minutes, blood everywhere,
Chop arms off and right stuff, right?
big time.
Yeah, that's okay.
There's even blood that comes out of the Metal Gear and the mechs and all that, isn't it? Or it's like oil,
It's
isn't
like
it?
oil, but
Something.
it's
Yeah, but it looks
weird.
gruesome.
Secret mech game.
Talk about. One day I'm going to do a whole podcast dedicated to Lost Fucking Planet. Ruined my life back in 2008 or whatever it was. No, 2005. What am I talking
Is it
about?
10 years old?
It must be. That's when the Xbox came out. No, when did the Xbox come out? 360.
2005.
Yeah, 10 years.
We're going on a bit of a tangent. Just-
Anyway,
Yeah,
gameplay.
sorry.
Metal Gear Solid 2.
Yeah, Metal Gear 2.
Right, we'll start off with the setting. The main setting, the tanker bit, I think that's great. Full of detail, it's nice variety.
Miller doesn't know anything about that.
Yeah, tanker. What tanker?
It's
just a bit in the trailer, Miller.
it's the bit that all the cool kids played.
yeah. That's true, yeah.
Basically, the sort of big rig, the oil rig section, it's the most bland, featureless thing I've ever played in any video game. It's basically solid orange, a bit of grey, and it's a massive two-sided hexagon.
It is a bit bland. I'll give you that.
It is a bit like an underground sewer or something, I guess. But it didn't bother me, though. At the time, I never thought this is bland, so I don't know why not, really. But you do make a good point.
I think it felt a bit high tech. Even though it was bland, it was like that futuristic, like the hexagons
Yeah.
and all the
Yeah.
design. It was a
Maybe
bit
that's
like...
what it was.
I don't know.
I think at the time it didn't look bland, but now looking
Look
back
back,
with
it's
you think. Because I played the HD collection every year pretty much.
What?
Well, it's since
Hang on.
I go back
We
and
need to focus
replay.
on that.
There's certain games that I go back and replay, like Mario. I'll go back. I'll play
You've
Metal
said
Gear
this
2,
before, and you've blown my
Metal
mind.
Gear 3. I'll go
Wait,
back and replay.
what do you do?
He spends his whole year replaying the same games he played last year.
No. Every year there's certain games that I'll go back and replay, like Mega Man, Mario, and Metal Gear 2 is one of them. And
Yeah,
I'll go back and
So
replay.
once a year,
I don't have
you
to
play
finish
Metal Gear
it, but
Solid 2.
I'll put a good 10, 15 hours into each of these games.
This
each
is
year.
amazing. Well, see, I used to do that with Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. At Christmas, I'd always play it, but that was not loads of games. How do you get the time?
It's only like 3 or 4 during the summer drought or something, but we haven't had much of a summer drought this year. So, but yeah, Metal Gear 2 is one of them.
I
so-
can go
lunatic,
worse
to be
than
honest,
that. Every year I replay Myst. But
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Do you
Right,
really?
yeah.
Yeah,
I've never played Myst. Think of that.
Obviously, I know the puzzle solutions by now, so I get through it in a minute.
Yeah, exactly. You just enjoy the ambience,
Yeah,
and
that's the
the
thing.
atmosphere.
It's like the atmosphere for it.
Okay, I think you make a fair point
Yeah.
about Metal Gear Solid 2 environment, but for whatever reason, it never really weighed heavy on me. It didn't really bother me at all.
Next thing I'll go on is the actual stealth gameplay. I can play through it and not have to worry about stealthing at all in it, which isn't good for a series which has got the subtitle Tactical Espionage Action.
You are right, but that is why I like Metal Gear Solid, because I hate stealth games where if I screw up my stealth, that's it.
Yeah,
I get
yeah.
absolutely ramsacked. And one of the reasons I always warm to Metal Gear, because it does go a bit like, you know what, just go kill everyone, it's fine, it doesn't matter. Whereas something like...
There's a locker over there.
What's a super stealth game where you just cannot, if you...
Well,
The Order.
yeah.
yeah.
I remember Burns playing. Was it Castlevania 2 for review? And there was a stealth section in that.
Castlevania 2, when did this happen? Like 1987?
No,
it
Lords
came
of
out-
Shadow
Lords
2.
of Shadow
Lords
2.
of Shadow
Lords of
2.
Shadow 2. Sorry.
Steve Burns reviews Castlevania 2.
And there was a stealth section in that where if you got
Oh, why?
seen, you got
That
kicked
was
back
it,
to the
yeah.
start, and it was so. I remember him screaming
I'm
and hearing him,
surprised.
and it's that sort of thing. Like you
Burns,
say,
he does make, I don't know, he struggles with stealth sections. He really does. Like he'll go, I got thrown back to the beginning, and really it should only take you about 2 minutes, and it'll take him about
rolling
half an hour.
around in plain sight.
Yeah.
but yeah, I know what you mean. Those like game-ending stealth sections, like
I don't need it.
kicks you back.
But then again, I know a lot of people like that stuff.
Yeah, there needs to be sort of a balance and that sort of thing. I just think Metal Gear Solid 2 went a bit too far in the opposite direction. Like 1 and 3, play it sort of in that sort of
Yeah.
not quite casual, but it works. 2, you can literally run around the whole thing, walk out of a room, you're fine. There's no sort of one
like
or two
Resident
runs.
Evil style. Once you leave a place, then you're
Then
safe.
it pretty much resets. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, there's sort of like the European extreme difficulty and stuff where it's a lot more vicious, but it's the sort of thing where you're playing on normal difficulty, you should be getting the adequate gameplay with that.
Right.
Couldn't you argue that with a lot of stealth games, like Splinter Cell and Hitman, and like Hitman encourages you to play it different ways, but like Splinter Cell, you could probably just shoot your way through, couldn't you? It's
I
been a
think
long
so.
time since I played
Yeah,
it.
but the point that Alec was making, those when you left a room, it like in Resident Evil, once you leave a room, the zombies can't transition through, and there's a lot of instances in Metal Gear 2 as well where once you leave, that's it pretty much. Unless you're on the really hard difficulty, the
Splinter
alert
Cell
timer will drop as well.
Does equip you with loads of gadgets as well.
Yeah.
Like, you're encouraged to kill people, I think, in that
Splinter
game.
Cell, yeah, exactly.
The last one
became a
especially
shooting game.
was
Was
like,
it
Blacklist.
Conviction?
Blacklist.
Oh, Blacklist, yeah.
Conviction was before. Conviction was kind of like the gateway one, and then Blacklist, like, I don't give a shit, kill everybody.
Was this the one where it
But,
started
like-
putting like the mission objective in the game as well, like as you was crawling
That was
in?
Conviction.
Yeah, I really like.
But
that.
like Pandora's Tomorrow and the original, I think, were quite stealth heavy.
Yeah, they were.
But
yeah.
I don't know
You
whether.
could still go in shooting people.
But I
though,
think you could. I think you could still shoot you out of situations. I say that now. You're wrong. You're wrong.
Was Blacklist the one that started off with an entire military base getting blown up?
Oh yeah, it's great.
Yeah,
I remember
The
when,
only man in the world that liked Blacklist.
remember
Right
when-
here.
when we played that. Do you remember we did a video on that? And I wasn't a fan of it, and you liked it, and I'm like, well, Miller, what is this? and then I went and played a few hours of it about a year later.
Yeah.
I actually thought it was okay.
It's great. It's 24 the video.
It took a
game.
while for me. Yeah, that was
Yeah.
it. As soon as I accepted that,
Yeah.
I think I enjoyed it. But I was thinking of it as a sort of stealth game because a lot of their messaging was
Oh, all
going
of
back
it.
to our
Oh,
roots.
no, yeah.
And that
It was
wasn't the
bollocks.
case.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was better than 24 the game, which takes a lot for me to admit.
No, I liked Splinter Cell Blacklist. I thought it was okay. All right, Alec, do you have? I think you have more.
yeah, a couple of points.
Yeah, go, rip it.
The aiming, it's bloody awful.
Oh,
That's
the
the thing.
controls
Yeah,
are
we have to
terrible,
push
yeah.
like L1, R2, wiggle the
Like
stick,
3 buttons.
X, Y.
3, 4 buttons, and if you are trying to do sort of stealth playthrough where you're doing like the tranquilizer darts and stuff, you have to get a headshot on that. It's damn near impossible to do it first time round.
Yeah.
It's that sort of thing that if it's a core part of gameplay, it needs to be done like tightly. They get it right in the next couple of games, but in that case, it was sort of the first one where you had the proper sort of first person aiming and all that.
Yeah.
But doesn't excuse the fact that it's just crap.
No, I agree
still
with
don't
that.
know if they have got it right, you know. Like, I think that's the one area where I'm concerned most about Phantom Pain, because Ground Zeroes was still a little fiddly when it came to controls.
I remember getting
especially-
mad at the controls a little bit in Grounds. I really like
Exactly.
Ground Zeroes at the same time though as well.
The thing is,
Oh, it's a challenge. Like, no.
had
The
that
controls
reflex.
should feel intuitive. They
What was that
shouldn't feel like
reflex
you're
thing?
thinking about what you're doing.
when you got spotted as well, because that really brought it to light. You know that thing, you got like a split second once they see
Where it
you.
went slow-mo?
Yeah, where you get to trank them or kill them just before the alarm goes off.
Yeah, I thought that was a really nice touch.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
didn't have a problem with that.
But that does bring the limitations of the shooting mechanic to light as well, because when you've got that, you know, that, what's it, like trigger, you know, you've got to really be quick on it, and then it doesn't work there as well. So you're right in that regard. It still hasn't quite got it.
Thanks
I
very
guess-
much.
I guess that's it. Yeah, I guess that's
Shut down.
it. Yeah, I guess that's it.
I think we all agree with you on that one, Alec. Keep
Fair
going. I like this. This is good.
Next, the swimming section.
I remember that.
Oh yeah.
remember the
You
swimming
don't
section
remember the
at all.
swimming? It was like half of the.
Was it
end
like
game.
the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles on the NES with
Where
the
you
hardest
got
swimming section of all
where
time?
you tell what's her name to listen to your heartbeat and all that bollocks. Where she's got.
remember
Where
this.
she's got.
Gone.
Are
It's
you
gone from my
joking?
memory.
Where there's bombs in the water and all that. Are you serious? What's her name again?
Brilliant. Brilliant. How can you forget it? What's the name?
It was Otacon Sister.
Yeah,
can't
I
remember
replay
her
it
actual
every
name.
year.
What is her name?
Let's call her Little Miss Otacon.
Yeah,
Go on
Otacon's
that,
sister.
yeah.
There we
So
go.
Little Miss Alcon tells you to go swimming and she monitors your heart
No.
rate.
You
you
have to go
have to-
get
yeah.
her from the basement where it gets flooded, and then she gets stuck, and then she says, "I can't swim," so you got to drag her through the water.
That sounds pretty good.
And she can't hold her breath
That
at
sounds
all.
like a great change of pace.
Yeah,
Does it? I think you're talking bollocks.
That's the thing. You have to go in to find her first off. It's this swimming section with awkward controls. It's a zoomed-in first-person perspective, and there's mines that you have to dodge. That
It
you
does
can't.
sound like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's that sewer level. And then you have to go in, find her, swim back, and then you have to go back again, and then get her and drag her out again. You have to go through this.
I think your lung capacity is like 3 times the size
How
of hers
far
as
into the
well.
game is this?
about
Like, it's like the
2/3.
third act. Yeah, it's like the beginning of the third act.
Wow.
Do you remember that bit
gone
where
from
you
my
got to
memory.
watch her with the sniper rifle and she walks across the bridges?
The only bit I remember hating about Metal Gear Solid 2 was when you do that weird Metal Gear fight and you're in some weird virtual reality world with. Do you remember that? And you're
Yeah,
jumping
I'm getting
around.
to
and,
that as well,
Oh
don't
yeah.
worry.
All right. Well, okay. We'll wait for that. But that
Should we
was
go
bizarre.
back and replay them all before 5?
Why not? It makes a lot of
Should we
sense.
do a series?
Even if we
Yeah,
just do
that'd
like
be
an
good.
hour of each one.
That'd be
yeah,
really
why
good.
not? I
You
think we
could
probably
cut
should
it
do that.
down.
To be fair, you can do Metal Gear Solid 2 in about an hour. So
Oh, look, more shots, mate. Let's do that. I like this. Let's start it so it can, when the game comes out, that's when we
Yeah,
do the
but
next.
make Burns play through all of 2.
You, mate, I ain't doing it. Okay, agree.
This is bollocks!
Twin Snakes. Everyone hated Twin Snakes. I wasn't really that bothered. I thought it was.
Twin Snakes.
I thought it was quite.
I understand people sometimes.
That was
well,
a remake. That was a proper remake.
Yeah, I don't remember that bit, so I can't really comment. But fair enough, we'll take it
was
on
so
board.
terrible, your memory blanked it out.
Well, yeah, maybe,
Yeah.
maybe.
Like the beginning of the game that Miller didn't play either.
You want to stop rubbing it in?
Maybe.
Give it a couple of years.
Yeah, exactly. Wait till I'm really old.
Right, next stop, the bosses. I don't-
Oh, here we go.
I
No,
don't,
this is going to be a riot now.
Yeah,
I
I
don't
like-
think any of them match up to any other bosses in the Metal Gear series. Fat Man.
Fat Man's
What-
great.
That's when he's on the
What's good about
skates,
that?
right?
His name,
Yeah,
Fat Man.
Where he
Fat
hides
Man,
the
yeah.
his name was Fat Man. Where he hides all the bombs around the
I like
tankers.
that
was
one.
great.
Yeah, that was good.
That was. I just thought that was one of the most annoying boss fights I've ever had to go
Oh, no, it
through.
was great. Especially when
Most boss fights are annoying.
were you speaking to the bomb expert and he's hiding in the... Oh, it was so good. You got to run around the cell with him, and there was that one where you had to see it in the mirror in the reflection.
Wasn't the vamp fight good as well when you're in the swimming pool?
Yeah, Vamp was good.
Wasn't that good?
No, I thought that was just generic shoot the bad guy, dodge the attack pattern sort of thing. It wasn't really what Metal Gear
You
Solid
wanted
boss fights
Psycho
and I
Madness,
thought-
didn't you? Everybody
doesn't?
wants Psycho Madness, yeah.
But I think every boss in the Metal Gear series has a great character to them. That's the thing.
Yeah,
in every
that's
Metal Gear
true.
game, they've got
That's
such
true.
a unique personality, and in
Yeah.
3 as well. But
Yeah.
even in 2, they're really good.
Like so, I'll include like characterization and whatnot into the plot stuff. Didn't have a problem with all that. It's just
yeah.
the actual.
Oh, the
boss
actual
fights themselves.
the actual
Yeah.
mechanics of
Do
them.
we count the weird sword fight at the end as a boss fight?
Unfortunately, yeah.
That's
Yeah,
bizarre.
that was. Yeah,
That was so. Last hour of that game is nonsense.
yeah. Well, it's all cutscenes as always. It's a
That's
Kojima
true.
game.
What's the other boss fights? I can't remember. the ones that-
Sniper Wolf was the best one in the whole series, the first game,
Yeah, I did
Yeah,
like those
because it was
both
so
iterations.
simple.
Yeah.
And you were there for like, hang on, my mic's gone. You were there thinking, what do I do? And it's like, well, I've got to go back and get a sniper rifle.
Yeah,
it's as
yeah.
simple as that.
Yeah.
Oh, that was good, wasn't it?
That is
Yeah.
great.
Oh,
That
Metal
or the
Gear
end
Solid.
in is the end the name of the sniper in 3?
In 3, yeah.
Yeah, that or the end. The sniper fights they do are the best. There's got to be one in 5. There has to be.
The end was okay. It just had that novelty of if you hang around for a bit.
Yeah, if you
He
leave
just
it on.
dies.
He just dies.
Leave it
doesn't
on
he?
for a week. And
That's
he's
what
just
everyone remembers about
dies
that.
of old age.
I love stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
It's just it's stupid, but it's excellent. Like it's the
Yeah.
little touches. It makes me happy, warm inside, like a hot chocolate. Wasn't there some girl boss in it? As well?
Fortune. That's
remember
the
that.
one that I thought.
Yeah, where she couldn't be hit. Yeah.
Yeah, that's one I thought had a little bit of ingenuity to it because
Yeah.
you think it's a boss fight, you've got to do something to actually take her down. Where the actual, I don't know if it counts as spoilers, being 15 years old.
No,
Yeah,
if
yeah,
anyone gets
you're
mad
right.
about spoilers, then go away.
But yeah, you don't actually attack her. You basically have to wait it out. You think you can possibly like maybe sort of shoot down lights, try and hit her with that sort of thing. Doesn't work. You just have to sort of survive for 2 minutes.
Is that the character with the railgun?
Yeah.
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 I don't remember the weight on, but don't I?
Yeah, that was the only sort of plot point regarding her that I thought was a bit stupid on Kojima's part. 'Cause she had that basically sort of thing that stopped bullets flying at her.
Yeah, like that
That she
force
didn't
field.
know about. That's about the size of a brick mobile phone.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like, how do you not notice that if you're some sort of trained specialist?
Yeah.
You know what your
Like
equipment
when you
is.
go to bed and you think, why can't I take this off? Oh, wait, because it actually protects me from everything.
Okay.
And yes, that Metal Gear Ray fight. What a load of bollocks.
That I agree with at all. But there was no sense of, am I progressing? Am I doing this right? Am I getting anywhere near finish? I mean, it's just nonsense. I hated that. You're doing those stupid flips across the screen.
Yeah.
Oh, bad.
It's
Very
like
bad.
it's all like in Metal Gear Solid, you get the fight with Rex, and even though it pretty much stays stationary the entire time, it feels like everything's led up to that. It's a great big showdown between you and the monster machine. It's a great fight, and then Ray comes along and just goes, "Oh, we're going to throw 12 of them at you at
Yeah.
once, and you know, try and get through it, and we'll interrupt the fight with a cutscene."
That's the thing, you don't even kill it, do you? It just
No,
stops after a while.
Yeah, it's
Oh, boss
disappointing.
fights though are so good in Metal Gear. So I'm just thinking about all the ones throughout the whole series. Like
Yeah.
when you fight Cyborg Ninja in the first one.
Yeah,
it's
but
so good.
Metal Gear Solid 4, when you fight the other Mantis, so I can't remember the
I
name.
can't remember
now.
Oh
Fours
yeah,
at all.
That ain't
fours.
great.
Yeah,
It was in 4.
they're all like personality vacant cyborgs, aren't
But-
they?
Oh, of course.
But
Yes,
4,
I do remember.
Yeah.
4 is so good for its variety.
Yeah,
Yeah.
When you're on the motorbike and then you walk around that town in the rain, fucking hell, it's a good game. Everyone gets mad about Metal Gear Solid 4.
I'm
It's
not a
so,
fan
I
of
know
4.
you're not. It's so good. It's so different.
It
I
is
like
good.
it.
Don't get me wrong. I say
Yeah.
I'm not a fan.
Yeah, I know
I
what you
am,
mean.
but
You're
it's
not.
not.
Yeah, I get it.
I think it's one of the weaker ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think it's the best, but I enjoyed my time with it much more than 2. So.
Do you think 3 is the best? Because most people say 3 is the best.
I'm torn between 1 and 3, to be honest.
Okay.
I think 3 gets it down for sort of feeling more like a covert mission type thing. I think 1, it was that sort of special moment in time. Sort of, it's a very good memory. Sort of that PlayStation era.
Yeah.
Just got that little bit more of a tug on my heartstrings.
I'd agree with that.
Eh?
Yeah.
There you go.
That just says exactly what I also
We'll
believe.
agree. Do you have any more Metal Gear Solid 2 points you want to discuss?
The only one is one you brought up, the sword.
Well,
They throw that in at like the last half hour of the game. You had no training with it whatsoever. You're expected to go through lines of enemies and then fight the final boss with it as well.
yeah.
Things that they ran with it, didn't they? With the later games. I mean,
Yeah.
you got Ryzen and you give him the cyborg.
Well, it's
thing,
not the end
so-
of 4, isn't it? When we last week when it's a beat 'em up. I just think Kojima likes throwing
Yeah.
in curveballs at the end of his games.
Well, it becomes track and field at the end, don't it? Before
Does it?
we got a button mash to get him up to the
Oh, that's
reactor.
excellent, that bit, when he's crawling.
Yeah, but it's
that
still
bit's
track and
fantastic.
field.
Yeah,
That's
it's true,
the
but
game.
that's
Yeah.
incredible. Like that, everyone nicked that. Everybody.
yeah.
Even Gears nicked that. But no, that's awesome, that
Oh
bit.
yeah, I'm not saying it's bad, but yeah, it does
Genuinely
change.
emotive. But no, I've lost my train of thought, but I like 4. I like that bit. But yeah, he loves ending his games weird. I can't remember
Yeah.
how the first one ended. How does Metal Gear Solid?
Well, you're isn't it the
You have
bike-
a
isn't-
fist fight
Yeah,
on the
bike
top of the
check
Metal
is,
Gear.
yeah, so that's a bit out of nowhere, right?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
not something you've done throughout the rest
And
of
the problem is
game.
because it's such a limited CQC
Of course, because
thing.
4 is a nod back to that.
Yeah,
I
it's the
remember
bike
now.
chase,
I
yeah,
remember. I remember. Well, there we go. I think they're fair points. I just
Yeah.
don't think they're things that particularly. I mean, when did Metal Gear Solid 2 come out?
It was
No.
2002, wasn't it?
And 2, so I was young and stupid, probably.
Because the first was 98, wasn't it?
Yeah, 98, and
Yeah.
then I think it was about 2002, 'cause roughly the same time Final Fantasy X came out. So I traded in Metal Gear Solid 2 for that.
What do you
That-
think of
that
Final
was a
Fantasy
mistake as
X?
well.
Do you like Final Fantasy X?
Not really.
No, I hate Final
I
Fantasy
got
X.
to, was it lightning planes? We have to dodge the lightning and all that. And I thought, fuck this.
I can't even remember that. I hate that game so much. I know every time I say this, people get so mad, but I can't help how I feel. I'm not doing it on purpose. It's just how I feel, isn't it? Well, I think it makes some fair points. And I definitely think Burns would agree with you if he was here. He
Yeah.
seems to have similar.
It did sort of steal my thunder with that Vice article about a month and a half ago.
Well, you know,
I say he nicked the idea from me.
We'll say
I
that.
can say that because he's not in the room.
Yeah, he nicks a lot of stuff as well. For the record, he doesn't. He may do. I don't know. Don't know what he does in his spare time. Maybe he's a thief. I've actually no idea.
Maybe he's such a good enough thief you haven't noticed.
But
yet.
exactly, yeah, he's good at his job for years. Is there anything else you want to discuss? Any new games you've been playing, or maybe?
That's the thing. As I mentioned, sort of, I've moved house recently, so I've not been able to play that much. But
Yeah.
I've been getting through Bloodborne, about 3/4 of the way through that.
Yeah.
And also gone through with some friends on all the GTA 5 heists now that they're finally.
Oh,
hit.
really? How are you
Yeah.
finding those?
I've enjoyed them, but I don't think they were completely worth the wait.
Oh, that's interesting. Why not?
It starts off really well. Sort of the first couple of high sets of missions, you know, there's a lot of variety in there. There's some cool moments. Then you get to ones where I won't sort of spoil it, but a returning character from the main game comes up, gives you some missions. You think, oh, this is going to be sort of the real crazy shit coming up now, and it's a load of bland sort of escort and sort of moving stuff around, and then it ends quite abruptly, and it's a bit of a disappointment.
Okay. I mean, they're never going to be as good as the ones. Are they? I don't know. Before I say this, I haven't played them. Are they as good as some of the ones in the single player? Because some of them are excellent.
I think a couple of them sort of match the single player level ones. Some
Yeah.
of them don't. And sort of the end bank heist, it's over. Once you've done sort of the prep missions, the main thing, it's over in about sort of 20 minutes. It's a whole lot of build up for not very much. You're in the bank. You're in
See-
the bank itself for a grand total of about 5-10 minutes. The rest of it's just running away from the cops.
I love GTA 5, and I'm replaying it at the moment,
I think it's
PS4, as you
wonderful
know.
now.
And,
Yeah.
and I enjoyed the heists. I thought the heists were a great addition to that series, but I've totally not been asked to try the online heist at all. I
Yeah.
can't be bothered. I have people ask, you know, you're doing some heists and that. I'm like, honestly, I don't know if I can be bothered.
I think
with
I'd be like you. I don't know what would tempt me to do them.
Yeah, I mean, sort of myself, I got myself and 3 friends. We basically said, right, every either Sunday or Monday, we'll spend
Heist
a couple
day.
of hours. That's heist evening. And that way we can work our way through them. It works quite well if you do it sort of as a campaign, basically. But I can see sort of dipping in and out of it. It's not really something that's going to be grabbing your attention.
The
That's the
online
thing.
stuff hasn't grabbed me at all, to be
It
perfectly
never
honest.
does with Rockstar games. I think it's because they create such a compelling single player experience.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, it's so much out of that. I'm like, I feel like you've given me my fill. I don't need to get anything else from
Yeah.
you.
And the thing is, well, when you play single player, you play it when you want. Whereas when you've got to book in to play online because you've got to do it with friends. You've got to make sure that everyone's ready on time
Yeah,
to
there's
do
a
it.
commitment there,
Yeah,
whereas
exactly.
single
You've got to
player
commit
just
to
load
it.
up and
This is
Yeah.
crazy, but I think I actually preferred Watch Dogs online stuff.
Really?
Yeah.
That's
The hacking
interesting.
thing, I did
The
really
whole,
like
You
that.
have people jumping into your
Yeah.
game and you have to find out who they are and where they are.
Yeah,
and-
exactly.
I
That
think
was
that's
great.
sort
That
of
hide
cat
and
and
seek
mouse
thing.
type thing.
Yeah.
That's a lot
It
more
was great.
inventive, and it's a
Yeah.
lot more
Yeah.
sort of off the cuff, which I think I prefer. But I would like. But here's the thing: I like the idea, in theory, of the heist. But I'm like you, Dave. I can't imagine why I would sit down
I
to
don't know,
do it. I
just-
just wouldn't.
No.
Wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
Maybe if I had a proper core group of 3 or 4 friends that we could do it regularly online. And you know what? Last gen, I probably would have had that. I was at that age and we all sort of played Battlefield and all that sort of stuff together. But I don't know. Now it's sort of changed. I don't.
Yeah, I'm playing
Maybe
less
that's
on.
a personal situation.
But I'm playing less
Yeah, that's what
multiplayer
it
games
is,
now.
yeah.
Other than
Yeah.
Call of Duty, which if I load up to have a few games of shooting people in the face. But that's random people. I don't
Yeah,
play,
exactly.
I don't really play much multiplayer stuff anymore.
No, I mean, for me, sort of before sort of heists and the return of online for GTA, last thing I played was Destiny. Again,
Yeah.
average sort of game. It was good because I had regular friends to play it with.
Yeah.
But since then, I've just been focusing on the single player stuff. There's
Yeah,
not
it's
really anything
back.
that's grabbing me.
That's interesting.
Is it a lot of kids that play online stuff? Is it like late teens?
I would guess so, yes, because they've grown up with it as well, haven't they? I know we grew up with it as well, but like if you're sort of
They got all the free time.
That's their social side.
yeah, if you're 16 now, I imagine Facebook and online gaming is just yeah.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't that be a thing? Whereas
God,
that
we
kind
sound
of
old.
came. But it's true though. It's a fact. It's a fact. Like because
Yeah.
like Facebook especially. That's right. You're going to get talk about Facebook. But it's true. When I went, this is a couple of Christmases ago now. But I remember my young. I can't remember. They were cousin, niece, whatever. You know, well, niece. That's not true at all. a distant relative.
Secret mech.
Well, yeah, a distant relative would check Facebook literally every 30 seconds because that's just what they did. And that to me was so alien.
Yeah, yeah.
I maybe check Facebook once every couple of days because just like, well,
Yeah,
I'd see
yeah.
what's going on. But that's just what they've brought up with.
It's like how even people like my brother on YouTube is television
Well,
to him.
exactly. It's the same
Not,
thing.
it's not even. He doesn't watch regular TV. It'll just be YouTube, and
Yeah.
that'll be it. And then whether he's subscribed to, that's it. It'll go through all them. Whether they've newly uploaded, that's it. Done.
This is the old man section of the podcast.
Oh, yeah.
I remember a friend asking me, "Are you on Facebook?" I was like, what's Facebook?
yeah.
These days.
Yeah, they laughed at you when you weren't on it.
I remember when the concept of Twitter was first told me, I was like, that makes fucking no sense whatsoever. And I signed I didn't know what to write. I was like, now I write fuck the world, fuck everything. I don't even think about it.
Metallica, done.
Yeah.
Retired. Retired your Twitter account.
So I do think that there will be, I'm not necessarily, I think online gaming is probably a bit less. I think it depends on the game and the appeal. But I do think that if you're of a younger age group, that'd just be something you do. Let's go online and play some games.
You've got nothing else to do.
No, because when I first went to play online games on PS2, I had to go out and buy a $49.99 network adapter, shove it into the back of my PlayStation 2, wait 40 minutes for the actual thing to start working. By then, you're like, I'm going to go outside.
I remember buying SOCOM when it came with the headset and
that's
the
what I bought.
adapter, and trying to do the voice commands with that, with my accent, and that shitty headset, no, didn't work.
With your ex, what are you talking about? It couldn't understand you.
My accent was worse back then as
I
well.
don't think that was you. That's the
Go
game.
on, how did you sound? Go on.
Fuck off. Not doing it.
That's how you sounded. Jeez, what a rude child you were.
Honestly, it was terrible.
To be fair, I think if your accent is anything other than American, you're always going to have a problem with
Yeah,
that
that
sort
should.
of thing.
I even resorted to trying to speak an American accent on the thing as well, hoping that would work.
You're an embarrassment.
You shut your face.
Yeah, I think a big problem is that there's not really been sort of a big multiplayer game to grip people.
I agree.
Yeah, Destiny was meant to be that thing. It wasn't.
it is,
Titanfall's sort of. It's got players.
Titanfall's dead, isn't it?
Titanfall's great. I'll have nothing said. No bad words said about
There's still a
Titanfall.
community for it. Much more than there is for Evolve at the moment. We'll say that much.
Yeah, I want
What
to
were
talk
these
about
numbers?
Evolve.
Yeah, did you
All
see
right,
this?
let's do it.
Yeah,
recently?
because
Hang on.
it's not even making the top 100 sort of played games on Steam at the moment.
Yeah. So it was Take-Two's investor call last night. Their earnings call.
Yeah, they announced, just for a quick, they announced WWE 2K16 and it's on old gen.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you about that.
What
as well.
the fuck? Anyway,
Do
so
you- is that a problem for you? Do you
Fair
think
enough.
it's-
Gang
because
signs.
eventually they've got to go right. You know, WWE games have been the same for so long, and that's fine. A lot of people like them; they sell very well, which I get. But surely, at some point, this is the same with THQ beforehand. This is nothing. This is to do with Ukes more than anything.
I was about to say you. I was like,
Let's
what
do
the
it
hell
with
do
me.
I do?
Yeah. At some point, they've got to go right. We've got to change it up because no other game will get. It's like 12, 13, maybe 15 years of the same game.
Yeah.
But is it because they think a lot of sports gamers may be casual gamers as well, and therefore they haven't upgraded?
Yeah, broadest market of WWE's fan base.
I get that, but I think they have to be.
I do agree with you. I think they need to move on,
Yeah, they've
but-
got to grab the situation and drag people with them, much like
Yeah.
Warner Brothers are doing, or CD Projekt Red, for another example. They probably could have released The Witcher on old gen. I mean, to some degree, it probably wouldn't have looked anywhere near
NBA
as
as
good.
well, where they take the new gen, make it a whole new engine, make it look spectacular.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I
Well, that's
wanna see.
interesting because I don't think they've announced whether that's coming to last gen yet, whereas they
Really?
have WWE.
Right. So I interrupt you anyway, Dave. So
Yeah,
carry
sorry.
on.
I
in
can't
your-
remember what we were saying.
I'm so
The
sorry.
earnings call.
But I was so
Oh,
passionate
Evolve.
about
Yeah,
that.
Evolve, earnings call.
So they announced that they'd shipped 2.5 million units. Shipped, not sold.
Right.
I don't know. Is that good? That to me doesn't seem like.
It was on 3
Amazing.
consoles. No, it was on more. It was on everything, wasn't it?
It was on
all
everything.
consoles
It wasn't
as well.
last gen.
It wasn't last gen.
No,
Okay,
no.
sorry, my bad.
And so, how
What
did
did
they
they-
talk about it though? Around the number, what did they say?
They said it had done better than what they'd expected it to do. There was still, I'm paraphrasing, but there was still high consumer engagement. People were still up for it and playing it. And I had a quick look. Like you said, it wasn't in the top 100 on Steam. Like, I don't know personally anyone who's still playing Evolve. Like, it just seems to me that it came and went, and you know, it's surrounded by controversy with the DLC, which didn't help.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't think it has the lasting appeal that they're making it out to have. And they're saying that people are liking the DLC. Well, it's like, well,
we, it's us. We love
I'd like
the
to know
DLC.
who
It's
that
great.
is,
Yeah.
really.
I
'cause-
think Evolve's main problem wasn't that it's surrounded by controversy, it's that it's surrounded by boredom. It's just.
well, that's,
Did you play Evolve?
I played on a friend's console. It's like had an hour's fill of it.
Guess you
I was
didn't like
done.
it, yeah.
It was just, I was sort of reasonably excited for it up until sort of everything started coming to light with the actual gameplay, and I just thought it's all right, but I'm not going to pay £50 and however much on top of that for a season pass as well. It's, just, it's not worth that sort of money.
It is a game that would probably live or die by its extra content as well, given the concept's very simple. So you kind of need stuff to inject into that world.
I wonder if the beta actually put people off of it when they thought.
I
Like
don't
you
remember-
say, they put an hour into it, and I was like, well, how much? Well, what else is there?
Yeah, I remember
Yeah.
seeing online a lot of people sort of saying, well, sort of when the beta came out, if this is it, do I really want the full thing?
Yeah. Yeah, it's an odd one, Evolve. But they still say it's a key franchise for them, like long term. And I don't know, like...
Well, I like Turtle Rock.
yeah.
I think Turtle Rock, good studio, and they seem like nice guys. That's a weird thing to say, but every time I see them in interviews, they seem like
Yeah.
very nice people. But
they got frustrated by the whole DLC thing.
I
You
can
could tell
imagine.
that,
That's
but-
true. They didn't handle that necessarily very well. But I don't know. What do you do with an Evolve 2? I mean, what do you literally do with it? Like,
Do you have to change the concept entirely, though, in terms of it's still 4v1, but do you have to put it on a grander scale?
You kind of do and you don't, because it makes no sense. But if you told me the concept of Left 4 Dead and then said they're going to get 2 games out of that, I'd go, how the fuck do you get 2 games out of that? When you play Left 4 Dead, you go, oh my God, this is brilliant. You can easily do that. But Evolve kind of has the same thing for me. But now that I've played it, I'm like, I don't know what you do for a sequel to justify whacking a 2 on the end.
I think one thing they need to do is sort of address the balance between sort of the hunters and the monster, because it seems sort of like it either swings completely one way, sort of whichever team you're playing that's getting the upper hand. There's never sort of back and forth between the two.
Which is what you need. It needs to feel tense and exciting, which maybe it doesn't.
Yeah, if you've got a good team, they can get the monsters sort of down sort of within those first sort of couple of segments of gameplay, or the monster can basically sort of trash them sort of, well, not trash them. I think the core concept is they sort of hide away, build up the points, come back at like level 3 evolution, and there's not much gameplay involved in that.
I just found if you were a hunter, I was so bored. Like just running after a monster that just disappears into the distance. Like,
we had a big session on it once, didn't we? I can't remember what it was for now.
Well, it was a video on it.
I was working on the review, weren't I?
I don't think it did. I don't know quite what happened there.
That was weird. I enjoyed that though. That was fun. But maybe it's because we were playing it with you guys
That's the thing.
rather than
Because I was reviewing it and we needed to try and get some sort of... I wanted to try and see how it felt playing online with strangers, playing alone, and playing with a group of friends.
I think it did go up, actually. It did go up.
Did it?
Yeah, it did.
I'll tell you another multiplayer guy. Sorry, I don't know. Are we doing a whole podcast? What are we doing? I don't know.
No, we've got about 10 minutes left.
Because I've got as much time as you want, but it's up to you.
Well, I mean, as a little window into the video gamer world, today's nuts in Video Gamer UK. People are sick and people are away, so we are going to record the podcast in 2 bits today. But no, we've got about 10 minutes for
All right, fine. A multiplayer shooter that I had... not written off, but wasn't interested in at all. I thought it looked a bit, not sure. Splatoon.
Now, this is interesting.
Yes, it is interesting. We can talk about this, by the way.
We can?
We can talk preview, in a preview sense.
Well, that's fine, because maybe even some point in the last month, as a Nintendo fan, I said I wasn't sure about Splatoon. And now David Scammell and Stephen Burns have told me they quite like Splatoon.
I'm in your boat.
Of all people.
Stephen Burns.
Of all people.
Gamer, you're a squid.
A colourful Nintendo game.
I mean, his quote... What was his quote after the Nintendo Direct? His tweet?
I don't know.
Oh, something.
Something like Nintendo's games for... I don't want to repeat it, actually.
No. But
he pretty much dug himself into a very deep hole, and now he needs to borrow someone's shovel to get back.
Steve was playing it, and he was saying to me, Dave... I actually quite like it. Come and have a look. Like, Steve, you've gone mad.
Yeah.
So I went and had a look and watched him. And what he was doing, I was watching, like, Steve, are you okay? Like, this looks real. All you're doing is just spraying the floor. Like, it looks really dull.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, give it a go. So I tried it. And you know what? He's right. It is really good.
That's astonishing.
It's completely... And I've only played it for half an hour, 45 minutes, and it's completely changed my opinion on it. The mechanics work really well.
It's classic Nintendo, isn't it?
So
We're going to play, aren't we? And just see if...
the way that you play... It's almost a stealth game. Hear me out. It's brilliant. Hear me out. The way that you play it...
Metal Gear 6!
You paint the ground in your colour, or the walls, whatever, and then you can jump into the ground and move quickly across the map.
That's how you refill your ink as well, isn't it?
And but you can sneak up behind people, kill them, carry on painting the ground.
So they can't
around.
see you once you're in the paint?
I think they have some sort of indication, but you're not as obvious as you are if you just walk around.
It's like you get a drone in Call of Duty. That kind of
I
thing
see.
where you get a highlight, but you're not 100%.
I tell you what, I walked out of there, pre-ordered it. I
mean,
really liked it.
that's a ringing endorsement for a video game.
Walked in to go slap money on the table and went,
Give me
Splatoon.
I don't know how it happened, honestly, because for so long... I remember when it was E3 last year or whenever, and we were all like, really? But
you did that to him, what his face. Just stood in front of Reggie like, wanker.
there was one year, I think it was like, they pushed it really hard along with Smash Brothers.
That was last year.
Yeah.
And I played it last year and I wasn't sold.
Neither, we were all just watching. I don't get it. But now that I've actually played it, this sounds crazy, but now that I've actually played it and spent some time with it, I think it's...
I'm just picturing Dave stood at a booth with the developer stood around him just going, this is shite, mate.
I am still worried. I mean, it's an online Wii U game,
Yeah.
which is not, necessarily indicative of major sales. But I don't know. If the community hangs around, it might be quite good fun.
May do it. Alec, what's your opinion? As a man who hasn't played Splatoon, what do you think of Splatoon? What's your opinion of Nintendo in general, actually?
I'm not a mega fan of Nintendo, but I do enjoy sort of stuff they put out. I've got some of the previous consoles. I've not got a Wii U yet. It's one of those games one of those consoles where I'm waiting for the games to be there,
Yeah.
and then I'm going to buy it in a big sort of burst.
Yeah.
There are a lot of games on it though.
There
that
are.
good.
I think sort of if I can get enough money, I'll definitely be getting one by Christmas.
Yeah.
You're going to do it where
But-
once the console sort of reaches the end of its life cycle, obviously they're.
Are we not already
coming out
there
with a new
now
one.
though?
I think we
Yeah,
are.
but I think
I'm
it might
not
be one
sure
of
I'd buy a Wii U now.
But it might be one of those where you buy it once it's nearing its end and you get all the library and it becomes like
What
a.
if the NX is backwards compatible?
That's a good point. That is a good point.
Will it be though?
I don't know. I just think
The
it's.
thing is, though, the Wii U, you got the Wii as well because it is backwards compatible with Wii software, isn't it? So, you're still getting two
Wii Spawns.
sets.
And Wii was backwards compatible with GameCube, right? I think
Yeah,
yes,
it was,
Let's
yeah.
see, their
All right, so
optical
maybe
stuff's
it's probably
been
worth
quite-
How far
Wii.
back can they go?
Well, I know, yeah. I mean, I
Yeah.
just think the NX needs to be a retro console.
Well, that's it,
Their
yeah.
First party stuff.
If the NX ends up being this sort of super, it plays everything that Nintendo's ever done sort of thing, I'll fork out for that. As it
I'd
stands,
pay £1,000.
Yeah, I was about to say, a lot of people will.
I'd give him my face.
N64 slot on the top.
Oh,
Pick a kidney and you can have it.
exactly. What about Splatoon though, in specifically? I mean, you've seen it in passing, I guess.
when I saw it sort of on the E3 coverage last year, I thought it looked interesting. It was something different and new from Nintendo. It wasn't sort of a shooter with, say, Link or Mario sort of splattered on top of it. And sort of as time's progressed, I've gotten more interested. And then sort of this recent bout of press coverage, it seems like it's actually a decent game. And, something that I think I'll, as and when I do get a Wii U, something that I will actually pick up.
Okay, well there you go. So it's not like out and out hate. Some people look at Splatoon and go, nope. So
Yeah.
I do think there's a lot of like overblown stuff. Like some people talking about it like it's
the Call
next-
of Duty. Like I've seen that
Yeah.
nonsense.
I've seen
So-
something, how it completely changes multiplayer shooters and all that sort of thing. I'm not sure that's the case, but
Yeah.
I just think it is. It seems to be a fairly solid
Yeah.
online shooter at the moment.
Dave's right,
so-
though, about it being so dependent on how the Wii U, like the community there,
Well, it's
responds
like all games
to it.
like that. Like
Yeah, but the
Call of
thing
Duty
is-
thrives because it's community.
Even if 3% of the install base buy
How did
and
you end up on
maintain.
that figure?
No, just a,
3%?
just a random number.
Brett does marketing for Nintendo.
Yeah, but I mean, still
Under
plays
analyst.
Call of Duty now. That's enough on PS4. That's still enough for you to play it. Whereas you can't really say the same for Wii U. It's
No,
a
you
lot
need
harder.
a very, very high percentage of the people that bought Wii U's to
like
play.
50% of people bought, what was it, Mario Kart, and that is still not a great, not a huge
4 million,
number. Yeah.
6 million, something like that.
I don't know who the
Yeah.
audience is for it. Like,
Yeah.
I get the impression, like, it'll appeal to our sort of, us, people
Yeah.
like us. But at the same time, I do wonder if they're aiming for a kiddie audience as well. There's no voice chat, so maybe
Yeah.
that's to appeal to parents. As
Yeah.
much as you get critics going, it needs voice chat, I think that's a very conscious decision to protect kids.
There's
But
also- sorry.
I don't know.
You got to wonder why on earth does all that stuff that was in the gamepad, why did it get thrown in? Like, there's a camera, there's a mic, and none of it gets used.
Oh, talking of the gamepad, when Burns first started playing it, it was really weird. So
Oh,
the,
yeah,
the
yeah.
controls, you look left and right on the right stick.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, it's all back
but
to
you
front.
look up and down on the gate by tilting the game.
Yeah.
And me and
Yeah.
Burns were sitting there like, what has happened, Nintendo? What are you doing? It's like they've thrown a gimmick in that completely destroys the game. We were
You
like,
can turn it off though.
if you can't
Yeah.
disable that,
Yeah.
that's that game ruined.
It's really weird.
But it
looking
takes you
at
through
it.
the tutorial with that stuff. Go to the options screen, turn it off
Of
afterwards.
course it does.
What?
I know this is a podcast, it's audio, but when Dave talks into his mic, he looks like a Mortal Kombat character because I can only see his eyes and he's got the thing over
Yeah,
it.
kinda
He really
does,
does.
yeah. I
It
like
really
that.
hurts
Yeah.
my nose when I talk in the podcast.
Because you really push up against the thing, don't you?
You
Yeah.
have to make love to these microphones. Ali, you had a point I thought you wanted to make.
It was in sort of direction to Splatoon being targeted at kids. I think one thing where it might actually sort of not garner as many sales as it could is because of the fact that it hasn't got a recognisable character in it.
Yeah.
It's-
That's the
they're-
thing. The characters are so generic.
Generic.
Yeah,
They're-
there's
they're-
no one identifiable, is there? They're all basically the same with just a different T-shirt or something like
Yeah,
that,
the
aren't
thing is, there's a lot of sort of, well, not quite as many as there was in sort of the Wii shovelware days. There's still a lot of sort of games aimed at kids that just have generic, colourful things on there. I don't know
Yeah.
what's going to make sort of typical mum pick up Splatoon over something else on the sort of shop shelves.
they? Maybe the
That would be
amiibo.
the question.
Maybe the amiibo might help compensate for that. They've got that could be
I
another
don't
thing that
know.
helps
I
push.
think you're right. I think there's
Yeah.
nothing where they go, oh, that one looks.
I
that looks
recognise
good.
him. That's that plumber with the moustache.
Yeah.
I'll buy
Yeah.
that for little Jim.
Imagine that, like in Punch-Out, they put Mario as the ref. Imagine Mario is like just somewhere in that game, and that was how they did it.
I would imagine that Nintendo, in the sort of dream world, see this as their Mario Kart for the Wii U. Do you remember Mario Kart just blew up on the Wii and became this huge thing where people would buy it and they have no idea what Mario
That
Kart
was Mario
was?
Kart 8, though, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. Yeah. Oh, you mean the last one? Sorry. You think it did
Yeah,
it?
yeah. Didn't that do the same for what?
I mean, it didn't blow up they didn't do crazy numbers. I think they think that Splatoon is this new thing. It's multiplayer, it's exciting, it's family friendly, and they want it to do huge numbers.
I think they've had
Who
a
knows?
strong year. I think it's been the best year they've had.
I think
Mario
the
Kart,
Wii U
Smash Brothers, and
is a solid console. I think if you don't want it by now, I don't know what else they could do. Really, it's got a lot of good. Well, it's a classic Nintendo. It's got the good Nintendo games on it. and-
where's Zelda?
That is the real question.
Yeah.
Where is Zelda? Not getting this year, are we? Now,
No.
It's next year. Star Fox is still
Might not
this year,
even be
though.
next year.
No, it'll be a DX launch game when it is.
DX?
Sorry, NX.
NX.
So NX launch
DX
game.
is better. For now, it's called the Nintendo DX. That's what we'll call it.
Dicks for sure.
Well, we got to that point in.
Dicks for sure.
It's a longer word.
Nintendo Dicks.
We'll get to Nintendo Dick soon. Maybe E3. They said they're not going to announce it, but you don't know until E3 is out of the way. We got to that bit in the podcast, though, where we turn to Alex. So thank you very much for coming all this way to be on the Video Gamer UK podcast. Is there anything you want to pimp out? Maybe you're selling a house. I meant more like Twitter handles or anything like that. Anything you want to say, you now have. This is your moment. You can do whatever you want.
Right, you can find me on Twitter at AlecDoYouMind.
Nice.
It's a rubbish username, but it's what I have.
Everyone's Twitter's handle is rubbish,
Yeah.
especially
Oh, totally.
Brett's. Brett's is the worst.
I also put up intermittent game reviews and bits up on alecdoyoumind.wordpress.com.
Nice.
But due to the fact that I don't have an internet connection at the moment, there's not been very much going up on there. This
That's
last
right. You'll
couple
have your internet connection back soon, though, won't you?
Yes, so I'll start posting up stuff there again.
So AlecDoYouMind.com, and you can get your opinions on all the games. All the games. Like it's the definitive source for
Well,
video game reviews.
Some games.
No, it's the internet. You got to lie on the internet, and then comments will come and tell you you're an asshole. That's how it works. That's the structure we've all decided to go with. We plow forward regardless. But seriously, thank you very much for coming all this way to see us, and thank you very much for supporting the Video Gamer Patreon.
Pleased to be here. Thanks for having me.
That's all right. And right now, some magic's going to happen, and some new person's going to pop up in the seat. I don't know who yet, because we're recording the rest of it tomorrow. There you go. Just breaking all the rules, breaking the fourth wall. That's
Miller,
what's happening. I know.
I'm going to miss you if it's not you.
No, it should be me.
Oh, will be you?
I think so, yeah.
I thought you said a mysterious person. Did I just make that up? Am I going
I
crazy?
did, but I meant
Did you just
in the
back
fourth
out?
chair.
I don't know
the
what
fourth chair will
happened.
be a mysterious
Oh, the
person.
fourth chair.
Yeah, no,
I
I'll
don't
be
know
here.
what's going on in my brain.
Honestly.
I'll be here.
I won't be here tomorrow. I'm at work.
You know?
Oh.
Yeah.
But
So will I.
you'll always have these memories.
Yeah.
Don't
Yeah,
forget that.
exactly.
And magically, we segue into the second part of the podcast. And even more magically, two people are completely changed. As Stephen W. Burns and Jim Trinker join the Video Gamer UK podcast.
All right.
Chaps, how are we?
Good. Saw a graphics card yesterday.
Was it sexy and exciting?
I'm not sure I can really talk about a lot of it, but there was a moment when they removed a like a throw or whatever was over the top of it. In fact, I think it was that casing, that anti-static shit you get when you buy it in a box. And I was like, you know, when they pull the tarp off a car, and you're like, wow, that looks amazing. But when you scale that down to a graphics card, it's not quite as
Not as exciting.
it's like,
No, that makes sense.
yeah, but interesting. June 1st, that's when I can talk.
June the 1st, Steve Burns will talk to you about graphics cards. But something we did say we're going to talk about, we're now looking towards Brett Phipps, and we can have, like I said earlier, what everybody wanted last week and they're getting now. And there's a video that they could have looked at. The Witcher 3.
Two videos.
Yeah, The Witcher 3. Now, you've played it.
Yep.
Jim's played it. I've played it a little bit, but we'll start with you. You gave it a 9 out of 10 for VideoGamer.com.
Yep.
So you're obviously a big fan of it, I would say.
Yeah, I love it. Yep, really, really good.
Cheers, Brett. Thanks very much.
It's massive. Well, if you let me finish, Simon, I will tell you why I love it. But yeah,
No, we don't.
it's-
This is video games. Don't need
Yeah, that's it.
It's good. Go
Yeah.
buy it.
opinion.
You don't have to show you're working, it's fine.
No, it's fine. One mark question. Yeah, it's absolutely massive, this game. I started it again on the retail version a couple of days ago, and it's just absolutely huge. When you allow yourself to be distracted by everything that the game offers you, rather
Yeah,
than
not be sort of worried about a deadline.
exactly,
and
and
stuff,
just be focused on the main game, and you just enjoy what it throws your way. There's just so much to do away from the point-to-point getting on with the main quest. And there's so many people that you meet along the way that you just want to find out more about them. There's so many interesting people, and there's so much effort gone into the game where everything's voice acted. There's so much in terms of what you can do as a character with Geralt in the decision you get to make. And what I like about it is that, like I said in the review and in the videos that we've done, is that the dialogue choices are all presented to you in the same way. There's no green's good, red's bad, yellow's the one in the middle. It's all a case of what you think is the right choice in that moment. And when I played The Witcher 2, I had made the mistake of not really following or paying as much attention as I needed to the undertones and the tensions that there were within the city and the people that I was interacting with. So when it came to a decision, I was just going with the one that I thought it felt less inappropriate. And then when you got that split second, when you got the timer running down, I was like, oh, I'll go with the left one.
Yeah.
You know, and I never knew if I was making the right decision. Whereas now when I'm playing the game, and I've also made the decision where I'm playing it as I think Geralt would be rather than what I think is the right choice. I'm doing what I think Geralt would do in
You're
that
role
moment.
playing.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm
a loser.
Fucking LARP.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, I'm really, really enjoying it. I know it's going to take me forever to finish, especially obviously when we've got work and stuff to do when it comes to other games to play, and so many games coming out in a relatively short space of time. But it's one of those I'm definitely going to want to keep coming back to, and I'll probably only get close to finishing it sometime around Christmas, but that doesn't bother me in the slightest.
It's good to have a game to come back to. The thing that surprised me most about it is it's not how I thought it was going to be at all. I do feel like they've made strides away from The Witcher 2 to make it more accessible and make it more... I mean, there's still so many systems in place. They're so PC focused that, good grief, going into anything is like, bloody hell, why do I have to do this? But it does feel a little bit more accessible.
Yeah.
It does feel a bit more like open world fun RPG game rather than an intricate slog through, European developers' heads.
Yeah, I think being open world means that you never feel stuck because you can always take missions. The problem with The Witcher 2 that I had was you was always stuck in a certain environment. There was only a certain amount of missions you could take on before you had to complete one of them. Whereas now, if there's missions that you aren't particularly fond of at that point, or you aren't engrossed in, then you can just go to another city and see what they've got to offer and do that for a little while, then come back once.
Distractions.
Exactly, and then once you've leveled up, you can come back and do those slightly tougher missions at a canter because you're a better character at that point. So there is a case of you never feel stuck in one particular area for longer than you need to. If you aren't I remember in The Witcher 2, I can't remember what the name of the area was, but I was with the Scoia'tael elven characters. I wasn't really enjoying it, but I had to plough through it.
There was nowhere else to go.
Yeah, exactly.
That is basically the problem with the first two Witcher games because they're sort of semi-linear. So, you just progress, but you finish one area and then you get the story just moves you along to the next one, and then you got to do everything here, and then you move. So when you're stuck in an area that's just not a nice place to be, you've just got to deal with it throughout, and that's usually the point where I've given up on them, because like in the first Witcher game, there's this massive section where you're just trudging around the swamp for hours, and it's crap. And when you eventually get through it, when you get back to the city and have other things to do, a lot of the stuff keeps sending you back into that same swamp.
Exactly.
So you just never escape it. But it's such a good balance this time round because there is a massive swamp. There's quite a few massive swamps, but you're not trapped there. You can go back to Novigrad. It's really weird actually. You can feel like, I'm gonna put my feet up. I'm gonna go back to Novigrad, sit in a tavern for a while. Even though you're a dude playing a game and it shouldn't make any difference because it's not actually you.
That's
the
the beauty of the world, isn't it?
Yeah.
It makes you feel like I say, it makes you feel like you're actually playing a role and you can do that kind of stuff. It doesn't feel out of place because that's the point. I mean, I only played it for a couple of hours, but I'm starting to think this is the game I wanted Dragon Age to be. Again, still too many. There's just too. Everyone goes that they want this from an RPG like that, but there's too much to do in menus for me. I like a certain amount to do in menus, but good grief, does The Witcher go right? Do that, and you do this within that menu.
Too much fucking screen furniture.
Yeah,
as
it
well.
does. Yeah,
At the start, where he goes, "This is the tutorial." Fuck off! I know how to jump. I can't stand it, and I can't stand any professional games designer not go. Surely imagine if Rockstar Games had that big moment, right? Welcome to this wonderful world, guys. Now I'm going to tell you everything about it. It's like the paperclip from Off. It doesn't make any sense.
I think you're writing a letter. Fuck, it really is that, isn't it? We haven't evolved since that, and that's a joke.
You're trying to kill a man. Do you know you can do this? Fuck off!
But Jim, you like it, right?
Oh, I love it. I totally agree with Brett's score as well.
Of course you do. You
it's a solid fucking
you
night.
wanks, your big fantasy hats on. Load of shite.
I couldn't stand the first two Witcher games. I couldn't fucking
I hate them too.
I played
really
it for 10 minutes when Brett went out to go to the toilet.
Yeah.
And I immediately got the horse to run off. And I thought, you know what? I kind of like this. Because it's like Red Dead. But you've got a sword.
Well, that's the other thing I wanted to talk about. I mean, it is SEO. You can't pretend that it's not. But it genuinely is a bit like Red Dead meets Dragon Age. I'd say it's not as good as Red Dead because Red Dead main character is just good and the atmosphere. Dragon Dead, yeah, it's good. But I do think, like I say, definitely the game I wanted Inquisition to be, and definitely has that Red kind of vibe. And it's been so long since Red Dead.
Oh, it's
it kind of fills
Inquisition
a gap.
2?
Electric Boogaloo.
It's I've been thinking of it that this is the game I wanted the first 2 Witcher games to be. This is the game that, you look at the box and that's what you imagine, but then the reality was sad. I know the first 2 Witcher games have their fans, but those fans can bite me.
But this to me,
They're going to eat your shorts as well.
I was trying to be. The first thing that came into my head was really bad.
it's a bit like what Fallout 3 was to a lot of people. They didn't really play the first Fallout games. I like the idea of them, but they never got into it. Then Fallout 3 was like, hey, look, now with this big accessible game, but with all the stuff that you like from the previous one. So I think it kind of feels like that to me. I think far more people than I imagined could sit down and play this and go, oh, wait, this is really good.
Yeah.
It kind of is. I mean, it's not. But are you? No, I'm not going to say it. Take it back. I don't believe it.
You see, they've pulled off the trick. I think they've made it a lot more accessible, but they haven't made it less complex.
They haven't sacrificed anything.
Yeah.
They just kind of streamline what they already did have.
Yeah, you don't have to like the alchemy and the crafting and stuff. There was a lot of times throughout the game for large chunks where I didn't have to engage in either of them. Like I played through for review and didn't craft a bomb like in any of the alchemy because I didn't need to use them. There was one side mission where I needed to use a bomb to get a monster, and that was the only time where I thought, okay, I need to go and find the materials to go and do it. But if you don't have to engage in any of that because there's enough things in the world that you can buy and make to get along with it.
I find it does make it all the richer if you do engage with that. I mean, you can take on a Witcher contract and pretty much any monster if most of the monsters, if you're good at dodging and waiting for your openings and stuff, you can just hit something to death. Eventually, but it does become a lot more fun if you do the whole planning stage.
Exactly.
Right, go into the bestiary. The bestiary tells you what it's vulnerable to. You make the oil.
Oh, that's wicked. That the bestiary, so good.
Yeah, I mean, it's there's this kind of procedural element to it that's really cool as well. That again, as you say, you don't necessarily have to engage in, but you'll have a much better time if you do, I think. And
I love that the glossary and the character bios are written by Dandelion, who's one of the characters in the game as well, because it's not just this character's this, they're from here, this is their height, weight, whatever. It's written by a character in the game who's a bit of a wordsmith and then gives his perspective on everyone in the game as well, and it's really good.
Oh, there you go. Everyone's loved The Witcher 3.
Sorry. I was going to say it gets really weird when you start reading entries written by Dandelion that start referencing the fact, because there's the entire sort of subplot that's about Dandelion.
Yeah.
So when entries start getting added to the journal or whatever it is that are being written about his subplot, so it all gets very meta.
I like that.
It's done quite well. But that's from I think that's from the first 2 games. It was certainly in the second one that it was Dandelion sort of narrating.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. Because you find pages of his journal as you go through the game as well.
We're probably going to get shouted at by a lot of people who've read the books now. It's gaming's Game of Thrones, basically.
Screw that.
Books.
Fuck off.
You should never release a product that makes you rely on something else like the Witcher books. Like you're asking too much of your audience. Then you have to be a bit smart with it. Like, go read The Witcher. I don't want to. Tough shit. Don't play our game. That's ridiculous.
Game of Thrones people, you see them on like the book people, and they're like, "Well, this character's diverged from it." Like, yeah, because this is a different.
That's what I don't
medium.
Get. There was something that happened the other day that said, "Well, that's not in the books." But it's not the books. It's like you can do whatever you want. You could make up a character if you really wanted.
I found my copy of The Godfather, the book, the other day, and I was like, oh yeah, I remember reading this. It was shit. The book is fucking dreadful. Like, a lot of it, well, not a lot of it, a minor plot is based around a character having surgery on their genitalia, essentially.
Sweet.
And there's all the characters are just expanded to the absolute max. Fuck all this crap.
Yeah.
Whereas Francis Ford Coppola went, right, cut all that shit.
Yeah.
Keep it simple. Time.
Keep it simple.
Even at 3 hours, don't have time.
Have you read Trainspotting, Burns?
Nope.
It's like the transition from that from book to film is incredible, because it is just like, it's essentially taking the characters and the tone and pretty much discarding everything else.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with using
it's an adaptation.
Exactly, using something as your jumping off block and going, right, let's do our own thing with it. Go, you're not staying true to the books. All right.
If I was
read the books.
If I was George Martin, what I would do is I go.
George Martin don't give a fuck.
I go,
He's swimming through his cash.
Oh yeah, but I'd say here's the new series, and it's just someone, but it's just a flat shot of the books and someone just turning the page,
reading it out.
giving you a little while to read the page, and then going.
If I was George R. R. Martin, I'd
Pause
say
now. You like Sky Plus pause it
Exactly.
and then read the page.
There you
film
go.
me looking through my online bank account. That's what I do. No one cares.
Still scrolling.
Exactly.
Still scrolling.
2 hours later. Long, innit? Brett, you've also been playing the Destiny House of Wolves DLC.
Yeah.
I still haven't touched Destiny, so
No?
I don't really know even what to ask you about this, but just tell the world about it.
Gee, how much time do you have, Brett?
Not a lot. It's all spent on playing House of Wolves and Witcher for work. Yeah, I went. It came out yesterday at 6 o'clock. I put about 2 or 3 hours into it.
Yeah.
I'm through most of the story bits, and I've got a few bits. I've got a new gun and some armor stuff, and it's good. But it's that
Is it
case
free?
of no.
Oh, I thought it's free.
It's either £20 on its own, or it's part of the first expansion pass that you get, which comes with like
Christ.
Dark Below as well. So it's like £35 for the two.
Ooh, that's a lot of money.
And it's the classic Destiny thing where there's not a lot there, but there's a lot that you'll keep going back to, if that makes sense. You know, there's only 5 story missions. There's a strike, which is like the 3-player. You go in as a group, it's a story mission, but it's 3-player.
Yeah.
There's a new 3-player horde mode called Prison of Elders, and there's some other bits as well that I'm forgetting. But you have to complete the story mode to get the Prison of Elders thing. So I'm going to be jumping into that, and the story missions are really good. They're really entertaining. But again, you'll be done with those in a couple of hours, and then it's a case of just going back through them, completing and getting more items and stuff to upgrade your equipment.
Yeah.
And it's that classic Destiny thing of, because the fundamental gameplay is so satisfying, you don't mind that you're doing the same thing again. It's that classic Bungie, 30 seconds of fun endlessly, going over and over and over again. And it's just nice as a Destiny player to have more stuff to do.
Is it new environment stuff?
Yeah.
I guess that's if you're enjoying what you're doing, you just want to do somewhere new to do it. It kind of gives you that.
It's on the same planets, but new areas within those that you sort of look back on yourself at certain points, that places you've already been to, but they're like alternate paths. So
is it worth 20 quid? It sounds like it sounds like a difficult kind of thing to rate, because if they're still relying on the core gameplay you got anyway, £20 like half the price of a game.
That's the thing, is because there's new enemy types, but they're variations of the ones there's already been. So it's a case of, you know, as a Destiny player, you get more things, but it's more of the same. I need to play the Prison of Elders and see how that works.
I quite like the balls of Destiny's business model. It's like a string of $6.99 DLC for 20 quid. So
how would you compare it to something that everyone is used to? Like, so Call of Duty will shit out a map pack. Not shit out, that's not fair, but we'll release a map pack for 20 quid. For 20 quid. And no one really moans about that. People are happy with 5 maps. Is it that much? You know, for a price. I mean, how does it match up to something like that? Do you feel you get enough out of that as you would if you're playing Call of Duty a lot and it's nice to have a new environment?
Yeah, that's the thing. I reckon you put the same amount of time into a Call of Duty or Battlefield map pack, or, you know, like the season pass, as you would in Destiny, but you play them in different ways. So it's the problem that I have with Destiny is that one of the biggest things about it is the raid mode, where there's no matchmaking. You have to play it with a group of friends, and it takes 3 hours to get through a raid. I can't do that. I can't sit and play a raid for 3 hours. So that large chunk of the game's lost on me, and that's where some of the best rewards are.
Yeah,
I simply cannot do that. So there isn't one in the House of Wolves stuff. It's more strikes and stuff, but I don't know. It's really tricky because you're not. It's nice to have new stuff, but again, you're doing the same thing within the new stuff, if that makes sense. So it's just, I need to put more time into it and see what new stuff I get, because it's that classic thing of you get a new currency within the game, and I know that's going to be impossible to find, so it'll take forever to put more in.
That sounds like shit.
But your early impressions are that you like it. Like, it's a nice thing to return to.
Yeah, exactly. It's just nice to have something new to do in Destiny.
Yeah.
That's the main thing.
Yeah.
No one cares about Destiny.
I think a lot of people actually do, though. That's the thing.
Well, they do, but a lot of people care about, I don't know, heroin. That doesn't mean to be espousing the relative merits.
No, that's true, but I do think a lot of people are excited about this DLC. I don't really care
in
about
the
it.
echo chamber of my Twitter feed, a lot of people are grown men who are like 40 who should know better, really. I'm like, it's gonna be bad, and
They're getting strangled.
I imagine them getting strangled. like I was at the event yesterday.
Destiny review verdict. I hope they all get strangled.
I was at that event yesterday for the graphics card. I just thought,
Don't tell me that was the same reaction.
everyone in here's got to go. Every single. There's only one person there that I was like, yeah, this guy knows what he's doing.
Burns test.
Yeah, it was Rich Ledbetter, wasn't it? He knows what he's doing. He's been around the block. I was like, I respect that guy. Rest of them, dead. Fuck him.
There you go. Anything else you want to say about it, Brett? Or is that pretty much the...
No, that was it. Yeah, that was pretty much. Like I said, I need to put a lot more time into it before I can even.
All right, we'll chat about it next week.
Yeah.
Tell you what, I can't wait till the Destiny sequel's announced because it'll just be wall to wall Destiny's Child headlines, won't it?
Oh, I don't want that.
Shite.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't want any reference to fucking Destiny's Child.
Although
No one needs that.
apparently,
Yeah.
Polygon actually did something quite good yesterday. I
Yeah.
know. I was appalled, really, but where they reviewed some game and I can't remember what it's called, but the strapline was Fofo Power Rangers, and I was like, ooh, I like it a lot, but it doesn't make
That
up
is
for
just a
like
strapline, yeah.
for the rest of the terrible shit they've been doing.
One thing I do want to chat about, actually, before we answer some questions, is now in the weird segue recorded on different days podcast, we talked about Splatoon earlier.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Steve Burns, as we said, you like Splatoon.
I do.
Not a massive chat because we did chat about it, but this is not your type of game. What have Nintendo done to
well,
shift the plates?
You know that really I'm not a big Nintendo person.
Yeah, I forgot the quote that you used for that Nintendo games.
Well, we won't go into it, but it's not that I hate Nintendo. I just hate its fans. However, Splatoon is really good. It is really it feels like a Dreamcast game made by Nintendo. That's the easiest way to describe it.
Big sell, Burns.
Yeah.
And I walked into it like, oh, here we go, right? Not because really you should have any preconceived notions, but it's nearly impossible when it's been played before by some quite big people, and they go, "Oh, it's the greatest thing of all time. It's going to revolutionise all this shit." And you're like, all right, well, let's see. You know what? It's really fun. The mechanics of you being a squid and then having to spray the ink to in the multiplayer to win turf war, and then that ink then becomes both your source of ammunition and enables you to move faster and traverse better, and hence keep the cycle going of you spread the ink, you fill up on the ink, you move faster, you move, because it's all about controlling territory.
Yeah,
it works really well. It's got a great style to it. So I'm just a bit worried about longevity at the moment, but yeah. Good, well done. But that fucking dinner tray that I have to use to play it, it's got a cool little map in the middle so you can see how much territory you control. But the state of those trigger buttons,
it's just massive,
and it defaults to motion control.
Yeah, we mentioned this,
and I actually said, if this forces me to play like this, I'll give it a 3.
Yeah, but you can turn it off, so that's good.
But no, it's good. Look forward to my review.
All right. Well, there we go.
Next week.
As always, I don't know how long this. I think this conversation's dead, but we're going to run it once more anyway because I haven't come up with a new one yet, and nor has anybody else. So just go to the Video Gamer forums, find the podcast competition, and just do something funny with Kojima. There you go. And if you do that, you can win a voucher from Shop2Dubnet. What was that? Shop2Dubnet up to the value of £50, which is pretty good. You can basically get a game. You get The Witcher 3 just by putting, I don't know, Kojima's head on a lizard or something. Do whatever you want.
Just so you know, that one won't win.
It will now. You do it really well. As I didn't pimp it at the start of the podcast, obviously, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. Find VideoGamerTV or VideoGamer.com and do those things that people are supposed to do. All right. Who wants to do some questions?
Yeah, right.
That's not the most enthusiastic
I'll do the
thing
questions.
ever, but we've got a few.
If we must.
The first is from Mike Lawson, who says, have Miller's parents ever seen the Miller Report? If so, how did they react? Same with Jim and Tam. Now, the reason I picked this one is, no, my parents have not seen it. I don't really think they understand what I do. But your dad, I know, at the very least, has seen Tam McLeish or
he's
the
not
old
asking
Dart.
how Jim and Tam react to the Miller Report.
No, I think he means. I think he means
What
your.
the fuck is this?
I think it means your parents. And I have seen tweets, and you've mentioned in passing that your dad watches the stuff. My parents have never. They watched one thing we did. Can't remember what it was, but that was very long time ago. Otherwise,
Was
they
it
have
the
no
Crew
clue.
1080p?
No, it wasn't.
My dad doesn't quite understand what we do either. My dad works with a lot of people who are like a lot younger than him.
Yeah.
Who know of the stuff, so he tends to, whenever we do something that does particularly well or whatever, he usually gets to know about it from his colleagues taking the piss out of him. For something like
It's amazing.
So that's his relationship.
Is it like
with my
Zoolander? Like, oh no, look what my son's doing. He's wearing makeup again.
But yeah,
beautiful.
I mean, there's been a few times when there's been Tamaglish videos getting watched in his office, and he's just been like, "Oh fuck, that's my son."
Does he like it though? I mean, does he like them?
I don't know. I think my dad is one of these people though. Even when he's really happy about something, he seems perturbed or annoyed.
Okay, yeah, I get it.
So I can never tell. He's one of these guys who just goes through the world looking like he's fucked off about something. So I can never tell.
I think the big, I think the big one I'd have if my dad saw it especially is because my dad is a real journalist. He used to be on TV and stuff. So I think if he saw me doing that, he'd be appalled. I think in his head he likes the fact that he knows I'm a journalist. You know, like keeping it in the business kind of thing. But then if he watched it, he'd be like, "Oh no, this is not what I thought was happening." So
all my family have watched the old Dar that Jim and I did, and I remember because whenever I've shown my mum some of the videos that you guys have done. She's that classic thing of watching 2 minutes and then just think, so I've watched it. So that's enough. That's supporting my family.
Yeah, exactly.
And I remember giving her the iPad and sort of putting the old Dar on. And I left the room so I had to, go brush my teeth or whatever, get ready. And then I was outside the bedroom and I didn't hear any noise. I thought, she's turned it off again. So I went in and I walked and she was she had tears running down her face. She couldn't control herself because she was laughing at Jim or old Dar trying to pronounce the name of the game that we was playing or one of the spells that we were casting, and she couldn't control herself. She was just in there
pride
laughing.
Mother's pride.
Yeah.
What did she think about you blowing your nose into the vest you were wearing?
She said that's disgusting.
Well, she's very right.
Yeah. And I even went and visited my aunts as well and uncles, and they all said the same thing as well, and they said they loved it as well, which was really nice to hear.
That's cool.
Yeah.
But
Before I forget, this has just popped into my brain. It's a very weird thing to do, but in case I think he listens to this, some guy stopped me in the tube a couple of weeks ago and just shouted my name and went, "Miller!" And I was so unprepared for it that I think I was a bit rude to him. So I think his name was Joe. I can't remember now. It's a couple of weeks ago. But if Joe is listening to this, that's very nice of you, and I apologise. That was a bit weird. It just took me
did he
unawares.
do it in the Steve sort of Miller?
Yeah, it was a bit like that. Yeah. Anyway, that just came
He
to my
lean out
brain.
from a corner.
I was going to say
leading
into the carriage.
Brett Claxton. Sorry, go on.
I was going to mention as well. Sorry, I don't know if anyone remembers a couple of months last year, quite early last year, I did a Teespring for Tamaglish t-shirts, and
I remember that.
so about 30 of them got bought, and
Really?
2 of them went to my mum's house. So she runs a guest house.
That's nice.
She serves breakfast to people wearing my fucking face on her.
That's my son. On that note, actually, again, we'll tie all this in. If anyone would genuinely be interested in video game merchandise, you have to let us know, because we'll start doing it if there's a demand for it. But we're not going to do it just to appease our own egos. That would be mad. If people actually want it, we'll do it. But you got to tell us.
We'll make you an action figure,
man.
and you can press the buttons, and it'll say like phrases. I fucked it.
Miller, can you
It's like so
imagine?
much money to produce.
Can you imagine being
Just
on
end up
the
with a voice
tube?
box.
You imagine Miller on the tube and he turns around and he sees somebody wearing a black t-shirt that says, "If you don't know the score,"
I don't know what I'd do. Try, probably.
He'd just run away.
But yeah, because a few people mention it in part. Yeah, a few people mention it in passing, but to genuinely, to get the stuff, we have to know. There's no point making it if nobody wants it. So let us know. Brett Claxton, friend of VideoGamer, says, "What's your favourite simulator game? For example, Flight Simulator, Farming Simulator,
Kerbal Space.
Football Manager." I thought you may mention that. You're a big fan, right?
It's fucking amazing. That's why.
Literally have to launch a rocket.
And it's not shite like all those other ones. Like, I'm driving a truck down the fucking M4. I don't know. I'm not a driver.
Because
I've got a guy for that.
The reason
But,
I picked that question is because I remember I used to quite like, somewhat depressingly, the literally the name just jumped out of my head. The farming games.
Oh, Farming Simulator.
No, they had the Harvest Moon.
Oh.
Like before simulators. I actually used to muck around with them a bit, which is depressing,
muck
really,
about.
isn't it? Because they're
Harvest Moon
useless.
was all right. What was that? That's that sort of sci-fi one they did on the PSP. What was that called again?
PSP, mate. You joking?
What's that?
Well, I played
A
that one a
sci-fi
lot.
simulator game.
No, it was Harvest Moon, but it was set, but it was had a
In
futuristic-
space, the classic thing. We're out of ideas. Put it in space.
James Bond.
Yeah,
It was in a futuristic setting, basically. But it wasn't called Harvest Moon. It was
Okay.
same people. Like, it was basically Harvest Moon, but it was called something else.
I met the guy who made Harvest Moon once years ago when I was still working on magazines, and he seemed to never want to make. He looked so depressed. He was so miserable talking about Harvest Moon. He's like, I don't want to do this again. And then soon after, he quit. Really? Like, well,
And then he
makes
started
sense.
making Euro Truck Simulator.
Yeah. Brett, I guess Football Manager.
Football
is yours.
Manager, yeah.
How many hours total would you say put into those games?
Oh, easily. I put 100 hours in each year, and I've played it since like the 90s, early
Fucking
90s.
hell.
So
Where'd you get your time from?
I was a kid.
You've got a machine that gives you more time than other people, surely. Because you just like, I'm just going to put 600 hours into Witcher 3 tonight.
But hold on, Brett. This story doesn't make any sense. So you said since the early 90s, but
Well,
you were,
Championship
but you were
Manager
born in
and
1990, right? So
Yeah.
were you some sort of
Well, I played
fucking
Championship Manager in 95 and that with my mates.
preternatural fucking football genius?
I did. Well, I bought Championship Manager and that with my mates. We all used to play it at, like around each other's house because my mate had the PC, so I used to go around there. We used
obvious
to
lies,
do a thing where.
Obviously, I remember I finished Mega Man when I was 6 months old.
Did you do that thing when you used to play it with your friends? You used to both like, right, we both promise we won't bid on the same player, and then your mates would come in and
No.
sneak a bid. I used to do that.
Absolutely.
Brett fucking role plays that as
Yeah,
well.
no,
No,
it's
it's
like-
bollocks. I was
it's when
playing Doom, motherfucker.
No,
like,
me and my mates used to play Championship Manager or Football Manager, whatever when they did the switch.
Yeah.
Say, right, make sure, right, that's it, gentleman's agreement, do not bid on the same player. And then obviously Ronaldinho, whoever it was, massive bidding war on the same player, outbid whoever it was, Man United. Whoever got Man United, that was it, they won.
My favourite memory of those games is Champ Manager 2, 97-98 season, where you could just... I can't remember how you did it now, but there's a way you could sell your worst player for like £100 million.
Oh, yeah,
So I would
yeah.
just do that at the start of every game, just go buy the best players.
Amazing.
Best game. Jenny M, I think I understand what she's saying, but we should talk about Doom anyway. Jenny M says, can't promise good, but what else has Doom really got to give us? So I think she means what do we expect from Doom?
So, if it wasn't for Wolfenstein, I would be saying now that this Doom.
It's not made by the same people, is
I
it?
know, but
Okay.
I was surprised at how good or how well they updated Wolfenstein. But not even Doom 2, which was made by the same people who made Doom,
In the same style.
not a fucking year after, was anywhere near as good as Doom exists perfectly. I don't want another Doom. Doom 3 is shit.
Well,
You've got a torch. What is that about?
Well, because survival horror was big at the time, so it's like, hey, we should tap into that. But Doom survives on the fact that it's Doom. Do you know what I mean? Like, it came along the right time, right place, and did something different and was fucking hell. So, well, the Doom name sells. But yeah, I played the original Doom, and I don't think any other Doom. Doom 3 would have been all right if it was called something else, I think. I think it was okay, but it wasn't a Doom
But
game.
thing with Doom, this new one, it has to run at like 1,000 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Doom's a rhythm action game. Doom's Metallica the game. We talk about this all the time. It starts with a fucking Metallica riff, essentially.
Oh, definitely.
And then just asks you to run around as quickly as possible, killing shit. Doom 3.
But it won't be that, will it?
Read these logs. Ooh, something.
What if they do it like
Wolfenstein?
Wolfenstein, though, and put a narrative in it and make it paced, for lack of a better
what
term?
I like about Doom is that it doesn't have one. This is the thing. Like I said at the start of this tirade, I would be completely dismissing it if it did not have, if Wolfenstein had not been updated so well.
Yeah.
So let's see. However, come on. Also, just play Brutal Doom. Just
Yes,
play Brutal
yeah,
Doom.
yeah.
There you go.
Did you see the news story yesterday of the original plans for the remake of Doom, where it was basically Call of Duty Doom?
It was terrible.
There was
Oh,
there was a CGI trailer that leaked that it was the original plans when they were going to remake Doom in the first instance, and it looked like Call of Duty Doom, and it was terrible. It was really bad. Luckily, that wasn't the one that this is going
Call
to be.
of Duty Doom.
Yeah.
Doom. Jim, you played Doom?
Oh, yeah. I liked Doom.
Do you excited about Doom 4?
That original one, obviously, that that started it all. It's fucking great.
Yeah.
I mean, it was, but no, I mean, it was a real, like, it was the first like real moment I remember in gaming. Like,
Yeah.
fuck, this is
The moment before you played Doom,
Yeah.
the moment after you played
this
Doom.
is fucking
essentially.
changing everything.
Yeah.
But everything since then has just been fucking piss. I thought Rage was better than Doom 3.
A lot of people like Rage.
Yeah.
A lot of love for Rage.
I gave it 71% or something.
Do you stand by that now?
I do because I played it on.
I think that's a good score,
I
though.
played it on PS3.
And
And
have technical issues on PS.
yeah, really bad ones. And I just thought it was boring as balls.
Yeah, I thought it was a big world nothing to do.
But I thought what Rage really nailed though was that
Shotgun had a really good shotgun.
But it kind of is similar to the Bungie's 30 seconds of fun thing. Just the act of aiming and shooting the gun was brilliant.
Yeah.
Like they got the actual core of it was spot on. It's
Yeah.
just the game around it was piss, but they really nailed.
Yeah,
that
hence my
side of
quite
it.
good score, Jim.
Yeah,
The best thing about I've forgotten the name of it. We've just said it. Rage was the fact these are the people that invented shooting multiplayer basically. So what do? They put some weird driving game as their multiplayer.
I couldn't believe
some drive 'em up.
It's just like, what is this crap?
That was bad. It was really bad. I remember when they announced that. I was at the event they announced that. You could hear the audible gasp in the room, like, "What the fuck are you doing?"
that was just you.
In Doom,
Yeah, it was just me.
why do you
I didn't
car?
care actually.
In Doom, sprint is always on. You run at the same pace as a car moves. Like you can complete the first level of Doom in something like 8 seconds. It's ridiculous.
Tim asks, can you shed some light on how game reveal exclusives work? Like,
No.
do those sites and magazines pay the dev to reveal it, or what? It kind of comes down to, well, in the developer usually, the way it used to work on magazines, as Burns and I can attest to,
magazines.
is you would basically pitch for it. That's how it worked. If you knew a game was coming out, you'd ring the PR or the publisher or whatever, and you'd say, look, I can give you the front cover of the magazine, 8-page feature, but I need from you cover art, I don't know, an interview or your screens, things like that. And what it used to come down to, sort of, back in the day was, well, we're not going to go with you. We're going to go with the official magazine because they sell 3 times the amount.
Yep.
Now, I don't really. Game exclusives are. It's the same thing, really. It's about who's your mates, really. I mean, if we're being honest, like if Game Informer gets something, I presume it's because, let's say, this is all obviously, I don't know this for a fact. I'm pretty sure it's because Activision will have done a cover with them. The year before, it went
And
well.
they got massive.
Yeah, it went
circulation.
well. They got loads of engagement from it. So they go, well, let's do it with them again because we got all the traction we wanted out of it. So it works for Game Informer because people are going to go look at Game Informer. And it works for Activision because their game gets a lot of buzz. And that's it now, really. In a world where magazines aren't... I still like magazines. I think they're awesome. But they're not the sort of the powerhouse they used to be. It doesn't really matter if you put a... if you're off the cover of... I mean...
There is a bit more democracy now, I think.
I would say so,
back
yeah.
in the day when... So we were at Imagine and stuff, and there was the Call of Duty covers and reveals and everything, even Black Ops, so official magazines, like you say, would get it first.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people think that it's the other way around, like the publisher is like, right, call the editor because
Exactly,
we're
yeah,
desperate,
no.
like you were the music press in the 70s or something,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? But now it's like, the editors had to pitch them.
Yeah.
But now you see all sorts at a reveal event. You see all, like, for web, you're not just going to go with one site. You just with FIFA or whatever, there's loads and loads of people at a FIFA
I don't think
reveal.
any money is changing hands. Not in that sense, like we will give you, 100 quid or whatever if you give us this. I think it's more business deals.
Yeah.
And nothing sort of untoward, literally like you would expect. It's just like, you do this and then we'll advertise here and you do that.
Yeah.
It's not...
The front cover of a magazine is an advert.
Well, of course it is. That's
So-
why publishers still enjoy having... covers on magazines is because it will sit in Smiths for 4 weeks, and even if people don't know they're seeing it, they are seeing it, so it's subliminal. But I don't think, well, not in my experience anyway. You haggle over money or
No, I
anything
took
like
loads
that.
of backhanders, even though I wasn't an editor at Imagine.
Just did it anyway.
Yeah, I just facilitated all these moves. What?
Yeah,
Brown envelope.
that's why there's about 6 contracts out on you, isn't there?
Yeah, I'm a bit worried about some of those coming in, to be honest.
I think the only big in terms of web, the only site I see that does exclusives in the same way that old magazines used to, and correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems to just be the whole IGN first look thing. Seems
GameSpot
to be
have
the
a
closest.
GameSpot first, don't they?
Yeah, and I assume that works in the same kind of way. I'm sure it's a business arrangement that works for both
Oh, well,
parties.
100% is.
IGN are fucking massive, so
Yeah.
Exactly, it makes sense. If you do this with us and you'll get millions and millions of impressions. Like that works for us, works for IGN.
Yeah,
It's just
yeah.
anything. It's just it's kind of simple, really. Like you'd expect it to work in other business, it kind of works in this one as well. I can never pronounce this guy's name. It's MKN1GHT. I don't know if you're supposed to pronounce it like that or M Knight. Or McKnight. I don't know. Anyway, with GTA DLC still on the way, would you like the story to progress or feature brand new characters? I think it's too long now. They can't do story stuff now, surely. Who would care?
Well, it's just come out on PC, hasn't it? So
No, but I mean, not in terms of... When I say that, I mean the story as we've been told in GTA 5.
oh, you mean
I'm
the
not-
story's been settled?
It'll
Yeah,
be,
like,
I would hope it was new.
Well, like Lost and Damned or something like that. That's what
Ballad
I've
of Gay
won.
Tony
Yeah.
is more enjoyable than the actual than GTA 4's story.
Yeah, but that's fine. That's taking new experiences and just setting it in that world. But in terms of progressing the story they already did, I'd be like,
You've
I
done
don't,
it.
it's, you've
Yeah.
wrapped, I
And
don't
the
care
story-
anymore. You've
this-
done it. It's over.
That story carries on after the credits anyway.
Yeah.
There's a few Trevor missions dotted about.
So I wouldn't want them to do anything with the characters they've got. But if they want to
I
introduce...
want to be someone really fucking rich. I want to be like the head of a fucking... I want to be the head of Paramount Pictures, and I want to be buying property and fucking doing weird... Because that's what Gay Tony did really well, is
Yeah.
that Tony is an establishment figure. You know, he's not a thug or an underling. And even though you become rich over the course of GTA 5, you're still essentially on the run or whatever. You want to be someone who's a bit of a power player in a lot of the local stuff. That's what Tony did really well. So he could go to his club, and then he had money troubles and all of this, and then the Russian gangsters got involved. So, yeah, I want something like that.
Yeah, I'd take that.
I want to come from not from the bottom, but from the top.
But is that going to happen? It's been a long time now.
It has,
No
which
sort of
makes you
big
think that
thing.
they're making it really good. Or they're making Red Dead 2.
Anybody else want anything from GTA? As I look around the room, don't have to.
I think, yeah, I would like them. I'd like one last sort of go on that merry-go-round on that GTA 5
Yeah.
world with perhaps new people. But to be honest, I'd just as sooner have GTA 6, Red Dead 2.
Surely Red Dead 2 before GTA 6.
Yeah.
Red Dead 2 2017.
Yeah?
That's my guess.
Terrifying thought of the
Imagine
day.
Red Dead 2 is going to be fucking incredible.
It's going to be hard, though, you know. I mean, Red Dead is one of my favourite games ever, but without John Marston, who was such a... People forget how... He was a selling point of that game. He's such a... Probably the greatest character in video games in sense of being a real person.
It'll be Red Dead 3, wouldn't it? Come on, Jim!
Shut up.
But I think that is their big
Red
challenge.
Dead
I mean,
Redemption 2 burns.
Yeah.
They can do it because that's Rockstar have a track record of doing it. But replacing him and not making me miss him is going to be a huge challenge.
What they'll do, I'm telling you right now, it'll be like The Godfather Part 2. So you'll play as his son,
Yeah.
and then you'll flash back in the dual timelines as his son attempts to make headway in the new world.
I'd like that.
And Marston kills people in the old world. There you go, boys. Off you go.
Done. Thanks very much.
Do that.
Imagine Rockstar listening to this and thinking, oh, fuck, change everything, scrap it.
Yeah, restart.
2019.
They've seen The Godfather Part 2. They know how that's done.
Peter McAllister, if you could let your 10-year-old self play any modern game, what would it be?
Good question, that actually. Good question.
Which
You're
of
10
three?
years old. Which?
Right. So the year is 1994.
Yeah. It was a cold
Late
winter.
94. Actually, I really didn't like the year 1994. Didn't really get on with it.
Right.
It seemed a very boring year. 95. Fantastic. I think it's because in those days I used to live from, essentially, in terms of entertainment, from and to wrestling pay-per-views.
Yeah.
So it's like, right,
many, 10.
you only got about 4 a year. And so in the middle of those, you're like, fuck, this is pretty boring, isn't it? But any game. So
Any game.
what was I really into in 1994?
Road Rash.
Road
Stargate came out in 1994.
The movie.
It did, yeah.
Maybe.
I think probably GTA 5, simply because it'd be like the systems would be so
Alien.
I just don't understand.
Yeah.
any of
Dual
it.
sticks.
Dual stick.
Like, what the hell is this?
What's that one for? I'll leave it.
Yeah, and it does so much technically that when you're used to playing fucking Lethal Enforcers,
Yeah.
you're like,
You send a PS4 back in time to your 10-year-old self, who discovers that it is a black box that doesn't connect to anything else.
that it can't run the game because it's not updated. Hold on, isn't that essentially the plot of Terminator 2? Where they find a chip, but it's broken. They've got to work out technology advances on the back of that.
Tell you what, though, you send the order back to 1994, do really well. Imagine that. People would love it.
I was just thinking,
Yeah.
like, I was in the year 2000 when I turned 10.
Pulp.
And I choose a really shit pulp. I choose a really shit game, but that was the year when FIFA. Do you remember that really bad Robbie Williams intro music where the FIFA that like it's showing all the new graphics on PS1, the facial animations, all that. It was that it animated Robbie Williams in the trailer. So I think it was Sol Campbell was on the front cover. It was like, this is the new look FIFA. I just walk in, FIFA 15 on the table. There you go. Have a look at
can
that
you
one
imagine?
instead.
Have a bang
My
on
10-year-old
that.
self.
Never forget
explode.
when these conversations come up. Never forget FIFA 96 when you saw it on a PC and like, oh my gosh, and you played on fucking SNES and it's still isometric bullshit. Didn't tell you that, did they?
Like
Absolute
Peter
screw
Schmeichel
job.
soccer.
Awful. Ghostwriter. E3 is upon us. What often rumoured but never realised game would you like to see most? E.g. Last Guardian, Agent, Half-Life 3.
Red Dead 2. 3,
Isn't
5,
Agent
8.
isn't Agent still being developed? They have not cancelled, have they? In terms of public.
Whose is that?
Rockstar's.
Is it Rockstar?
Yeah.
I'd love a
I don't think it's been
Rockstar
cancelled.
spy game set in the 1970s.
I think it's still
I think
come
that's
out.
the game that I want more than any other ever.
I think it's still come out. That's so Rockstar. Remember that game you thought was cancelled? Nope. There you go. Go play
Where
it.
the fuck is Bully 2 set in military school academy?
Wasn't
Where
that-
the fuck is it?
Wasn't at one point that was like...
it's real. The composer's
Yeah.
like, I'm doing it.
Was it?
Where the fuck is it?
I never played Bully. It's the only Rockstar game I never played.
Yeah.
Gotta get on that. 'cause
Yeah.
It's
It's
fantastic.
good smashing.
Yeah.
Even today, because I've been thinking about it as well. Just
Get it on 360, but the or PC. But the music. It's actually really good. People very misunderstood that game mainly because of the title. But yeah, it's what Bully has that maybe other games that Rockstar have made don't, is it really captures that childlike joy of discovery. So you can't fucking steal any cars. We can ride around your BMX, and after curfew, people will start looking for you. But there's stuff you discover, a bit like the Goonies. You know, that magic where they find the pirate ship. We can find a pirate ship in Bully, but you have to have that little bit of that childlike, maybe there is something out there.
Yeah.
And then when you find it and there's a pirate on it, you're like, oh, it's the best fucking game of all time. It's the best game. But it's quite a serious game as well, because when you start off and you play Jimmy and he just gets thrown out into private school and boarding school, and his parents are like, well, fuck you. And then a lot of that informs a lot of his actions throughout the game, because his parents fucking hate him. And bloody
Still
good game,
never get over the fact they changed their name in this country to Kenneth Canham Edit. Can't call it Bully.
But changing it from Bully to that is such a fuck off to almost everyone. It's like, you're going to change the Latin now. I'm like, what?
But bully's not a... bullying's a real thing. It's not like someone going to sit on a box and go, I can bully someone. Bizarre.
It's just
Bizarre.
like, it's just idiots though, isn't it? Just idiots.
Colin Hughes, I like this question because he's keeping it real. I have £40. What do I buy? Bloodborne or The Witcher 3?
Witcher 3.
Heroin.
For 40 quid? Bargain. Don't buy heroin.
Don't do that.
We'll still go round. Jim, he's got 40 quid. He wants to buy the Bloodborne or The Witcher 3.
Witcher 3.
Yeah, I guess that's always
Witcher
going to
3.
be the way.
Bloodborne's a pile of shit.
Good old Jim. These Burns parody accounts getting worse. I'd say Bloodborne.
Yeah, it's like choosing between children, but I'd say Bloodborne.
Bloodborne. See, I'd say The Witcher 3, but I hate Bloodborne. So there you go. We haven't helped you at all, Colin. So good luck with your £40. Jonathan Tipper, shall I get The Witcher this week or wait for the Elder Scrolls on PS4 for online play? Is that not worth waiting? Well, this is why I wanted to bring it up. Don't buy the Elder Scrolls online
tell
over
it's
The Witcher
serious.
3. Yeah, don't do that. And finally, Paul Nolan. Most of my keep shelf stuff that I don't trade in is Nintendo. No PS4 The Order in there. Why is Nintendo so evergreen? To follow on, I can imagine blasting around Mario Kart 8 in 10 years' time. It will still be good. Same for Gears or The Order? Nope. So there you go. Why does Nintendo stuff hold up?
Because it's not necessarily right. So
It's
a
not
lot,
a technical showcase, that's why.
yeah, a lot of their stuff is mechanics based.
Plus, they only released 3 games a fucking year, so you've got to get your money's worth.
But I think the fact is that, because Mario Kart 8 is essentially Super Mario Kart, really.
Exactly.
But that formula has never worn out. It's never got old. Plus, Nintendo have never oversaturated it either.
Yeah.
Well, they do some stuff, but in terms of like
They
Mario
do.
Kart, they don't.
They always say one game per console of that.
Yeah,
that
so you
series.
will be playing Mario Kart in 10 years' time, but it'll just be Mario Kart 18. It'll be the same game. It'll just apply the techniques that have been taught to them from modern day, and they'll just keep doing it until...
And like Burns says, they never try and be at the tip of the technological advancements. They always try to make sure that the foundations are as they always have been, and they still appeal to everyone who has played the first one or has never played the game. So that's why.
You don't see people sort of banging on about Mario Kart Double Dash and shit, do you? It's always the
Some
latest
people do.
iteration.
Some people in
but-
this very office think Mario Kart Double Dash is the best one. They're incorrect. We'll have that conversation another day.
Fucking Nintendo fans. I can't stand them. Like, I can't believe they're still allowed to be a thing.
Surely all fans. All fans are terrible. Mostly.
Depends.
But to Jim's point about people not going on about Double Dash, it's like when new entries of any annual or semi-new series comes out, it sort of makes the old one redundant. Whereas with Mario, you could stop playing Mario Kart 8, go to the one before it, and be like, oh, I can still play this and have fun. And same with Smash Brothers or any of those. Mario World, same. But that's why it's because the foundations remain the same. It's not like they're they're improving on the formula, but they're not disregarding what came before
I
it.
also think it helps they were developing games when technology was something you fought against rather than helped you. Like if you're developing games in the late 80s, early 90s, when you have to base things on what makes it good. Whereas Sony and Microsoft have always been in the HD era, basically. I mean, not the HD era, but you know what I mean.
But yeah, they were building to try and push the technology to its limits rather than work around and make the game first and then put it on the console and, you know, just build it for that.
There you go. Secretly, everyone loves Nintendo, even if they don't admit it. Even Stephen W. Burns.
Hey, look, I've got no truck with Nintendo. Okay, it's just
no truck. Well, there you go. The T-shirt you could buy from the fake video game. I ain't got no truck with Nintendo. On the back, Stephen W. Burns speaks. Well, I think that's it. Unless anyone's got anything else I want to talk about, I think we can wrap this up.
I think we need to start doing the Burns report as a counterpoint to the Miller report.
I'll tell you so. I had a dream. I often have dreams about plane crashes. Usually I'm on the plane, but this time last night I was not on the plane.
Driving it.
I was in
driving
Russia.
Driving the plane.
I was in Russia. They spoke German for some reason.
Yeah.
And I was looking for a cash machine.
Oh my god!
So you could probably put together all the various elements.
Because you needed to buy a new watch.
Because I know I needed money to get a cab back to where everyone was staying. And yeah, I saw this plane just nose completely down, coming out of the sky. And because usually, you know, they don't just go nose straight down. And it went behind a row of houses, and I was like, shit. And then it kind of bounced in a very cartoony physics, and some of it was flat. Like, the aerofoil was still there, but the front of it was very flat. And it bounced back up, and then I thought, shit, now it's going to land on me. It didn't. So that's essentially what I've been up to, having dreams about weird planes that bounce.
Thank you,
but
Steve.
you think, why haven't they implemented that as a safety feature? Why don't you just put some trampolines on the bottom of them, so if they come down,
that's a good question.
They'll bounce back up.
Maybe someone into aviation can answer this. Yeah.
Well, yeah, but no, the cash machine was just around. Oh, and then I got to the cash machine, and I was like, right. And then it was all in fucking another language. I don't know what's going on in my brain.
Unbelievable.
There you go.
If you want to hear more about Steve Burns' dreams, if you are a Video Gamer Community Club member, your extra bit is coming up. So stay tuned for that. If you'd like to join, you just go to VideoGamer. No, you don't. You go to patreon.com/VideoGamer, on Twitter at VideoGamer.com, on Facebook, VideoGamer.com, on YouTube, VideoGamerTV. Thank you very much for downloading us. Thank you very much for letting us into your lives. I've been Simon Miller, and I've been joined by Brett Phipps.
Bye.
Stephen W. Burns.
Hello.
Jim Trinker.
Bye.
See you in a week.